On the Yes Charity?
Yes.
Okay, I figured. Okay, perfect.
And we are live.
Cool. Hello, welcome. If you're here, you're probably here to watch session 18 of Roll for Severity's second D&D campaign. Can't believe it's been 18 sessions. Where's the time go?
Probably in the past.
Boo, that's my joke. Alright, we stream live every Sunday. Our campaign's at noon PST, right here at twitch.tv/rollforseverity. Giggle's campaign streams a little bit later in the evening on his Sunday. Is it 5 p.m. PST?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're ever in the market for some late night D&D, you can check out his. So before we get underway, a few quick things to go over. So first things first, each month we donate a portion of all income generated by Roll for Severity to charity. So that includes things like subscriptions, donations, bits, and then any sales from merch on the Roll for Severity store. This month's charity is YES, the Youth Empowerment and Support Services. It's an Edmonton-based organization that provides low-barrier shelters, temporary housing, and then all sorts of individual support for youth ages 15 to 24. If you want, you can check out their website at yess.org or find them on Twitter at yessorg. So we talked about a store. There is one. It's super exciting. It's full of cool swag, and you can get masks, mugs, baby clothes, basically anything from your normal TeePublic fanfare. And you can find that on teepublic.com/rollforseverity. There's also a link somewhere below the stream. Sorry, I can hear my cat being crazy, and it's weird that I can't see what it's doing. I don't know what's making that clicky noise. The last point, right. So this is not a pre-made 5th ed campaign. So we use varied rules. We have different player mechanics, and we'll make weird in-game adjustments. So the rules, as you may know them, will not always be as written. So it's gonna get kind of weird and homebrewed up in here. Any other announcements, Giggle, since it's been a while since...
A whole 2 weeks. Nope, nothing else as far as I'm aware.
Perfect. So to my lovely players, what happened last time?
I like trains. Yeah, we're on a train. There's also a dead guy on a train.
Yes. We didn't do it. Wasn't us.
Yet.
For once.
To be fair, we didn't lynch the last person either.
Maybe
this
some
is true.
indirect action we did may have got him killed. Who knows?
We were ultimately responsible for whatever does end up happening.
Ultimately responsible, but none of it was done with our own hands.
To be fair, you haven't ruled out the possibility that you guys killed him.
Yeah, there's a distinct possibility that he's literally dead right now.
Well, no, if he's dead, it was not directly us that killed him. We definitely, rolled the barrel down the hill of what would have been the catalyst for it, but in the end, his actions sealed his own fate.
To be fair, he also did not directly kill the person that we got him in trouble for killing. He also just rolled that barrel down the hill.
If you kill this person, money will magically appear in your pockets.
Yeah. So could he be faulted for going it the same way that you guys kind of did? I don't know. The lines of morality are blurred.
Wait, there's lines of morality here? The fuck campaign are you playing, Mel?
That's not what kind of game this is.
No. This is indeed a scoundrels campaign.
Yep,
We did that for fun.
We did. It's like there's nothing actually benefiting us from this, but know what? Fuck it, we're gonna do this anyway.
Create a power vacuum to make it more difficult for us to be followed. It's fine.
Murder, subterfuge, and deceit are always on the table here, and I love it.
Although I also appreciate the fact that this is a Scoundrels campaign, and we have yet to murder any actual people.
Yeah, right. I need to change that.
We have, weaseled our way around, every, non-animal encounter that we faced so far.
Yeah.
But anyways, as of last session, though, we got in a big train. We got some pompous dude not on the train because Nick stole their ticket.
Yes.
fine, don't worry about it. I could have just bought a ticket. They were relatively inexpensive, but at that point, it was the principle of the thing.
10 gold saved is 10 gold earned.
Yeah.
But then there's a crazy guy there was a crazy guy allowed on the train who's essentially a Mr. Hyde kind of situation. At least that's how Naroke interpreted it. He is now dead. Once again, not our fault.
Didn't do it.
We have Silent Bob, who is a hunter. Jigsaw, who did not want to, in fact, play a game. We have Holmes, who is Sherlock, and he has challenged us to figure out who murdered Jekyll.
Yeah, and there are so many people named after serial killers on this train, which makes me wonder what the deal is with Silent Bob.
Don't read too much.
Is there something you know about Kevin Smith that we don't?
No. Correct. Holmes has asked you to find out who is the killer, how the murder was perpetrated, and of course the motive, because, you know, got to tie that up all nicely.
We're on a competition for his hat. Also some other things, but mostly the hat.
Yes, yes.
He wants a bag of rats, but he does not know it's a bag of rats.
No, he thinks it's a bag of holding, and he is wagering his book of tongues, which he doesn't know is not that useful to you guys.
I also have comprehend languages, I just never use it.
Yeah, so it is the morning into your trip on the Izenbolt to Osterbay to get to the Highland Blush, of course. The atmosphere, and now that people are starting to sort of wake up, is pretty tense. The conductor hasn't wanted to start a full-on panic on the train, but people know there's been an incident. They don't necessarily know exactly what that incident was, but people are being asked, you know, lay low, kind of stick to their own personal carts if they can. And it's not as jovial of an atmosphere as it was yesterday when you boarded the train.
I mean, has it really been that jovial of an atmosphere on account of the fact that every little bit Nick goes and drops a random train destruction fact near the couple old ladies?
Is it a fact or is it a bald-faced lie?
As far as they know, it's a fact.
Yeah, I made a character choice that Nick, while remembering nothing about his own personal backstory, does have an encyclopedic knowledge of train disasters.
Love it. So yeah, maybe not jovial in those ladies' worlds. Maybe things are just as on fire as they've always been. But you more or less have free range of the train. You know, there are sleeping carts. There's sort of the passenger cart where people kind of mill about and hang out. Ow. And you, yeah. How do you guys want to go about this? Do you want to shake down people individually?
I think I wanted to check out the body at some point. Not too sure we'll find anything, but it's kind of a... I don't know, something
Yeah,
to just
I
kind of
think
get off
investigating the body is a good idea.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start.
list.
So you will recall then, in the morning, the Holmes was talking to the conductor, who had said that we're going to need to put it into the freezer to sort of help preserve the body for the ride. So yes, that was the tip you got of where the body might be. You know that they're going to put it somewhere cold.
Okay, so I guess galley car.
Okay, so let's go to the freezer.
Okay, thank you. And it's easy enough to find because there's attendants around that you can ask for the location of it and whatnot. In order to get there, though, you have to pass through the kitchens, and there are 3 ladies fast at work, prepping veggies and whatnot. That kind of glare at you when you come in, but as soon as they see that you're not like someone familiar, their gazes kind of soften. And one lady asks how she can help you.
Looking for the freezer.
You need a snack?
No, we're looking at the body.
Are you some kinds of detectives?
Of sort.
Absolutely.
Oh, you working with that Holmes boy?
Yes, in fact.
All right. Right this way. That guy, he's quite the charmer.
What do you know of Holmes?
Oh, well, he makes this trip every so often. Yeah, his services are real useful. You know, he's coming and going all the time. I've seen him around a bit. Yeah, dreamy, doubtful key.
Sorry, dreamy what?
That's his name, Doubtful Key. Holmes is his last name.
Doubtful Key Holmes?
Yeah. Her
Doubtful
disposition
Key.
is just that she finds him attractive, and she doesn't seem to have anything.
Okay.
Deep, motivations. But since you appear to be working with him, she will gladly open it up with a warning, like, best brace yourselves here. It's not every day you sees a dead body.
No, absolutely not.
I've seen my fair share.
One that doesn't have leaves on it.
Oh god. Okay.
Or is currently rotting.
Yeah, eaten away by bugs.
Trying to attack us.
That's true.
Actively on fire.
I've had some really bad experiences with dead bodies.
Oh, we trained by...
I like to think you're all just like really tense, like weapons at the ready because you know where this goes.
No, Naroke's just perfectly calm. The last time he encountered a dead thing that tried to kill him, he punched it through a door.
I'm
That
just
is
imagining like Marsh slowly raising a knife, and then Nick reaches over without looking and takes it down.
Yeah, so she flips a little latch and then undoes the little locking dealie and is gonna open it for you. There's a faint glowing blue light, kind of the same power source that runs the train, that's kind of flickering in there, so it casts a bit of light, but it's still quite dark. And you can see past the rows of shelving, there is a slumped form wrapped up in what looks like a bed sheet. Kind of
Body in a rug.
Yeah. Yes.
There's like a whole lot of ice cream set off to the side that needs to be eaten very fast now.
Not that you're aware of. A quick cursory glance shows a lot of containers, but they're not well labeled.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's just gonna say, "Take your time. I'll lock this door so it doesn't close in on you. This thing's killer, man. If you get locked in there, it's not a fun time."
Oh, keep that in mind.
Just remember that for later.
Yeah. So she blocks it. That's all.
Naroke's gonna go and take a look at the body and see if he can, unwrap it and probably. I imagine he's kind of like crinkling away the sheet as it's like frozen in place at this point.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I imagine the sheets are stiff, but not like super frosty.
Yeah.
Really, fluff it out when you're unrolling it.
And the skin, while obviously very cold to the touch and quite pale, is not like, frosted blue over. He hasn't been in there that long.
Okay.
Eyes are closed. Face is kind of in a tight grimace. Sorry, is Grimace happy?
No.
Grimace always... Okay, good. Yeah, he's just like angry kind of face, eyes closed. Kitty, please.
Anyone got good medicine?
Well, I wanted to see if I could assess physically if there's any injuries or anything like that he has sustained recently.
For sure. So you're gonna completely unravel him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So he's in sort of flannel sleeping pajamas, as it were. At a cursory glance, there's no blood, no moisture. Clothes are intact. Nothing's been shredded. At least at first glance.
Okay.
Yep.
When I roll a medicine check to see if I can determine if there's anything particularly noticeably wrong with the corpse.
Please do.
Cause of death.
I'll help you because I also got an okay medicine. So.
15.
So
I will be
giving-
useless here.
15. All right, so for all intents and purposes, this body looks to be in pristine condition. Like there's no bruising, there's no even for the skin being frozen. I imagine you're kind of giving him like a once over, like a medical sort of check, as it were. Dr. Naroke in the house.
He's dead. I'm not holding back when it comes to frisking the body. It's like looking for anything abnormal.
Exactly. So like, shoes are taken off, legs lifted, you're feeling for any soft tissue damage, and everything seems just a-okay. He looks to be in great condition other than being a dead body in a freezer.
So is this all consistent with a heart attack? This is a question for Naroke, I guess. Because I just recall, like, the official cause of death is heart attack, right? Or do
That's
we not know?
That's what the Dr. Lecter, his personal physician, had explained to Myers.
Yeah.
Not going to dinner with Dr. Lecter.
With my 15, would I have any idea of, like, based off of the condition of the body, does it seem likely that it might have been a heart attack, or it would have to have been something internal, since we have no external signs of injury.
For sure, yeah. This seems like not, 100% is a heart attack, because that's kind of hard to determine without a shadow of a doubt. But it seems
without
very
opening him
likely.
up.
Yeah, it seems quite likely that he died of a heart attack. Like that could
It's
absolutely
plausible.
track. It's plausible, yes.
It's plausible. I don't find any external injuries on him, but that doesn't rule out the possibility of poison or heart attack or old age or...
It would be really awkward if he just died of natural causes, and we're
I
both
mean-
just jumping to conclusions.
Well, see,
Actually, I think some of Nick's rogue shit might be handy here because poison knowledge. So I'm wondering if Nick can start like checking his nail beds and other signs for like a specific poison that might have been used on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So his nails, while looking like beautifully polished and, this guy was kind of ritzy, there is a little bit of gunk under some of them. And give me... For poisons, would that just be nature for you, or do you have some special proficiency? Let's see.
I was
Let's do an investigation for you.
okay. Oh, natural one.
Natural one. There is a weird grainy substance that's not unlike sugar, but if it was kind of gray.
Huh.
Not.
Hey, Marsh, does this look like drug shit to you?
I was just about to say, it looks a bit gray, but I'll double check it's not flower drugs. I don't know, take some of the powder out and just compare.
For sure. So the the drugs that you have are like vibrant white, a finer grade, not as coarse as this. You're not an expert in dryathamine plants and making it into drugs, so it doesn't look like it's directly related, but you suppose it could be heavily processed and maybe be part of the drugs.
Some food coloring in there?
Why not make it pink if you're putting food coloring in? Like if you're gonna discolor the drug, you should at least make it fun, right?
Exactly.
A nice shade of gray.
Like who
Yeah.
are you appealing to? Minimalist wine moms?
So Marsh at a
Nice.
glance.
Never mind.
Sorry, you definitely don't. You're not getting a drug feel from it, like specifically the dryathamine flowers.
Huh. Well, it's not too much going on here with this dead guy. He's pretty dead.
we'll want to come back tomorrow. I've got... it'll take some time to prepare, but I've got some spells that might give it a little more insight.
Should we wrap him up, or no? If we're coming back tomorrow, maybe we don't have to.
We should probably wrap him up for the sake of anyone who has to walk into this freezer.
I was about to ask, is there a chair in
Better not
here?
be
Just
too
prop him up in the
fast.
chair. It's like, we'll be back, don't worry.
open up one eye.
I will say it's a rare treat to be in the presence of a corpse who's not trying to kill us.
I'll throw the kind of like sheet over top of him.
Yep, that works.
You took him back in the corner.
Yep, easy.
I draw 2 little ghost eyes on the sheet. Never mind.
With the big scream mouth.
Just take the arms, put them up. So I was like,
ooh, the scream. Yes. Yeah. So, exiting the freezer, you're now in the kitchen. The ladies are still kind of huffling away, working at their stations. They're not paying you any mind, but you do hear them. They're kind of griping, and, like groaning, and they seem kind of indignant. Like, how dare she? You know, they're pretty perturbed about something.
can I listen in?
Yeah, I want to eavesdrop. I want to get the goss.
You want to get the gossip? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the ladies who has like white hair pulled in a tight bun, she also got a cigarette, so she's doing this weird like chopping peppers.
Smoking right there in the kitchen. Just
Yes.
not giving shit.
It's a different world.
There's like a vat of grease like right next to her.
Oh my god, ashes into it. Yeah, so she's very much like, she's even got a hairnet. You know, so there's sort of some semblance of like professionalism.
We're worried
there.
about getting hair and things, aren't we?
It just the cigarette or the cigarette ashes into the vat of grease. It adds the smoky flavor.
Gross.
And also maybe combusts the grease.
So, cigarette in one hand, she's like, that Voorhees bitch, man, if she comes back here, I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind. She's like, she don't tell me how to run my kitchen. I run my kitchen, not her. Yeah, and so they are griping about Madame Voorhees. And being in her kitchen, and then another lady picks up, she's got kind of like long black braids, and she's like, I know where I put the rat poison. I don't mistake it for nothing else, man. If she got a problem with where I put my stuff, that's her problem, not my problem. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Okay, I'm going to, at this point, mosey out of the freezer, and just, grumble to myself, like, deliberately pitched for them to hear, but to make it sound like I'm just grumbling to Naroke. Something to the effect of, geez, that Voorhees bitch is a real uncooperative witness, huh?
Well, I know. Like, the least you could do is be honest with us.
And then Smoker's gonna perk up and be like, oh, you want to talk about her, man? I got stories for you.
Oh God,
Oh,
really?
do tell.
She's been giving you grief too?
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, she thinks she's a cook. Well, she can't cook. Yeah, she almost poisoned that Lord Bates guy. This dumb
Almost.
bitch mixed up sugar with rat poison.
Oh, wait, is rat poison like a little bit gray? Like, what color is it?
It's a little bit gray.
So, like, no way you could mistake it for sugar looking at it.
Not unless you was a dumb bitch.
Taking physical paper notes. I wish I had a reporter's notebook. These little skinny ones you could fit in your back pocket back in the day.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. Okay.
So when was that happened?
They boarded the train early. You know, special priorities being the rich and all. And she comes barging in here saying, oh, she's the personal cook, and, you know, we've seen them here a few times. I know the drill. She doesn't need to tell me a stupid drill. I know it. So she's getting away. She's cooking, but it's my kitchen. She's coming in here using my ingredients. She doesn't know what nothing is. And when she makes his lunch, she adds a, bit of rat poison. She's a dumb broad. What can I say?
And so the lunch that had the rat poison, you stopped that from going out?
Eventually, It made its way out the door at first, and then I realized, why is this rat poison here at her station instead of against the back wall with the oregano?
Wait, is that where you normally?
Why do you keep? What? You know what? That's not important right now.
So I send Maeve here. I send to say, you get that before that poor son's a bitch eats it. And you know, he lived another day, and well, he was meant to. I don't quite know. I wouldn't be surprised if she poisoned him.
I think we'll need to confiscate that poison for evidence if you don't mind.
That's all right with me. That's more where that came from.
How about
So much
how
rat
much do you
poison on this
store?
train.
She just got another vat of rat poison in the bag.
The lady with the long black hair and braids is gonna open a cupboard, and it's just like top to bottom rat poison.
Do you have like rat problems? Oh.
Not anymore, apparently.
Well, you know, there was a time when things maybe weren't as rodent-free as we would have liked, but we take care of it.
Okay, so how much stuff on this train is held together with beef tallow? It's my question.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna take like 1 vial of rat poison.
For sure.
I'll let them keep the rest. They might need it.
Okay.
Just remember not to put your vial of rat poison into the bag of infinite rats.
Different
Don't
bag.
Yeah, so and she can point out the little canister that's by the oregano, and you can take it easily enough.
I'll take that
Buy
one.
the oregano though.
To really spice up the dish, I don't know.
Why would you take that risk?
I'd like to point out that your meals are all encompassed on this train, so you eat the food that they prepare.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
Can anyone create food just in case?
I can add that to the list of spells I need to swap out.
Maybe cure poison in your back pocket just in case.
Just in case.
See what I can do.
Yeah, and they're continuing to work as they're sort of chit-chatting, and do you have any other questions for them?
I guess I'll just kind of like, instead of just clarifying the name, so the personal cook was Voorhees, and what was their victim's name again?
Bates.
Lord, yeah, he's Lord Bates.
Bates. Okay,
Norman.
so I guess
no,
we
his
don't.
son's Norman.
Damn it. So I guess I was gonna ask the cooks here, just double check that like Voorhees was the one that made and delivered all the food to Bates, but I mean that seems to be kind of obvious. So
It's worth double checking.
yeah, I guess I'll double check that fact just to like double check that no like Bates never ate food from the kitchen or anything like that.
She's like, we could try all we want to feed him. You know, our food's top notch, but if you think we can get anything near that guy, no, you got another thing coming. He will not eat anything unless it's prepared by Madame Voorhees.
Why did they ever go into why Bates needed a personal cook, or is it just like a nobility thing?
Yeah, he's rich, he's got the money for it. They're also, you know,
Oh.
I think that's mostly why he kept her around. She's got a pretty face.
I see. Well, ta-ta.
Just imagining this great big lizard saying ta-ta, and it's very good.
With a pet raptor.
I think I'm just kind of storing the raptor in our room. We'll make sure no one's messing with our stuff.
Yeah, if somebody tries to get into our stuff and there's just like a velociraptor perched on top of our suitcases, just looking.
This isn't where I parked my car.
Ah, I see.
Oh man. I don't know. I guess like I see like 2 things to go to myself. Either like maybe we check out Bates' cabin, or maybe we just straight up talk to Voorhees.
I think we check out the scene of the possible crime.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we start interviewing witnesses.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, show. Oh. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, so looks very familiar. Same kind of passenger carts as the ones you guys have for everyone's personal carts and whatnot. Oh, and you said Raptor was not there.
Yeah.
Raptor's just sitting on our luggage.
For some reason, I just have a gut feeling. I don't think we're gonna get into combat in the train, but I feel like if we do, it'll be to our advantage.
Is Endress with us? I feel like Endress.
We
Here's the
left.
question.
Endress is pairing up on this.
Do you want Endress to just stay low and not get murdered, or do you feel she's necessary for the investigation?
I guess it's a question of, hey, Endress, do you want to participate in the murder mystery investigation, or would you rather this be a quiet trip for you? I realize we put you through a lot recently.
To be fair, she didn't have to deal anything with the mayor.
It's true. I like to think she was actually watching from the tallies Inn and Tavern, just like, what the fuck?
At a distance. What's
There's no
going on?
context. Yeah, she can't hear it. She just sees the mob and everything. So, Endress will tap out. She'll say, "I'll be in my cart if you need me. If you have any questions, if you want to run clues or ideas, she is available to bounce ideas off of. But then she probably won't.
She won't actively follow us around. Okay.
Yeah. So we're just gonna, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and just double checking with her that she doesn't have things like, speak with dead or the zone of truth.
Ooh.
I mean, she is a cleric, I think.
She is a cleric. That's not her expertise, though. So, if you get cut, if you're hurt, come to me. I'll fix you up real good. But
Constantly loaded with heal spells. Got it.
Yeah. Sure can cure those wounds. Bam.
Maybe. Marsh briefly thinks that the body is still savable with magic, and then, probably not.
Yeah, I guess some of that just needs to happen within a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah,
I had looked at Revivify, but I didn't feel like spending 300 gold, nor had we gotten to his body within a minute.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking it's like
That
this.
would have been really funny, though. There's been a murder on this train. Not
Nope.
anymore.
I disagree!
I don't think Endress is a high enough level, but I think Breath of Life wouldn't be off the table. Or is that like a couple rounds?
She doesn't have it, but maybe. I'm actually not familiar with Breath of Life.
Some Tasha's shit, isn't it?
Oh, it might also be a Pathfinder spell.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
It is a Pathfinder spell.
hey, perfect.
Damn it. I've been playing a lot of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous lately. My spell lists are getting mixed again.
I had that problem for the longest time. Alright, seeing as that's not on the table, you guys are in Bates's room. Lord Bates. It's kind of a similar setup to everyone else's. There's a big lush bed in his. There's also a desk kind of side table. Yeah. In his room specifically, there's a small chest on the table. It's unlocked, and it has 5 empty vials, about yay big.
Interesting.
It's
But
right-
I'm intensely to see if they come alive.
What was that, Naroke?
well, I was gonna pass one of the vials over to Nick and the Marsh, and it's like, does this look like what was under their nails?
Yeah, I guess Marsh and I can check for residue, see if we can match it to what was under the nails.
Sure. I think your investigation is probably higher than mine, so I'll just assist you.
My investigation is 1. Your intelligence is going to be higher than mine.
My investigation is 2, so.
Yay!
go.
Yeah, I guess
Mine is -1.
Yay!
We are a smart group.
8!
Alright.
We're very bad investigators, we're all learning.
Luckily, it's pretty easy to see a powdery white residue left on these vials.
White
Yeah.
or gray?
White.
Uh,
Not grainy, very thin, and Marsh, having, kind of immersed yourself into the drug world, albeit very weirdly, this looks just like dry diathamine petals that have been, processed into a powder.
I just had a thought that's related to me being an insufferable know-it-all. I'm sorry. Rat poison is usually cyanide, and cyanide usually leaves like a blue tint in the nail beds, which is why I checked his nail beds. So, if that's not relevant to this game, just tell me that rat poison in this universe doesn't involve cyanide, and we'll move on. But
Fair enough.
The implication of cyanide in this world would be.
Just don't chew on it, you're fine.
Well, we'll say it's the exact same. It totally tracks, but there was no
blue residue under his fingers.
Yeah.
okay.
But that does not mean if he ingested it that just means he didn't handle it directly himself.
Oh no, the discoloration is just a byproduct of the cyanide being in the blood. Doesn't mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No,
that's why it's called cyanide, is because it is cyan. It is a cyan pigment.
Did not know that. Interesting.
So, with our personal knowledge, we've kind of ruled out cyanide. Now, I don't know the signs of death from Drowthamine poison.
Well, my tongue was numb when I ate one of the flowers.
Like, what happens if you eat so much you die? Maybe you don't die?
Is there anyone we are willing to test this hypothesis on? Because we have a lot of Dryathemine.
Yeah, that is true, but we have to try someone we really don't like.
We're not testing our murder method on Endress. We'll find somebody else.
Actually, isn't there, again, I always have trouble remembering names. Isn't there, like, another person on this train who's good with alchemy and chemicals and that stuff?
Jigsaw.
Yeah, Jigsaw is the competition for Kruger and Sons.
Yeah. Possible
Maybe
suspects.
maybe we could just go ask him what are the symptoms of dying from Dryathemine poisoning.
For no reason, what are the symptoms of death of Dryathemine?
I mean, he seems like a nice
Don't
guy.
worry about it.
He was
This
perfectly...
is a illegal drug.
Yeah. Just, for reasons, just for shits and giggles. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. What would you say are the results of Dryathemine poison?
Marsh likes his outfit. I bet he'd be open to talk about it.
Naroke had a
Yes.
lovely chat with the fellow. He was a very, very nice fellow. There was nothing abnormal about him at all. And then we threw Holmes for a loop.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't think I was part of the conversation that made him a suspect, unless we're just like flat assuming most people are
He's a
suspect.
suspect because this is a closed environment and everybody's a suspect.
Including us.
I look to my left, to my right. oh, yeah, everyone besides us. Got it.
Too tired to kill people right now.
I mean, I didn't know where Raptor went last night.
Okay, maybe if he's a suspect, I'll pose it as like a nice trivia question. We just need to host trivia night, and I'll make the Dryathemine card, and then he'll have to tell us.
I don't know why we
right
don't just
by-
ask him. He's a very lovely fellow. Had a wonderful conversation with him the other night.
That's right. You didn't pick up any of the murder undertones.
But- The only thing that's kind of like weird already is it's like Bates had the rat poison on him, but we've just kind of figured out he's probably wasn't killed by rat poison.
What do you mean he had the rat poison on him? The rat poison wasn't...
I thought we found the powdery substance on him, didn't we? Or did I get that wrong?
No, so there was like a weird gray, grainy, gunk under his nails, his well manicured nails.
Granted, if he was eating rat poison, he probably wouldn't have enough that he gets it under his nails, so why was he messing with rat poison?
Still, it's worth comparing it to the rat poison sample we took.
Yeah, what color was the rat poison sample? Was the rat poison?
Yeah, so the rat poison, not in liquid form, it is like sugar, so grainy, kind of the same size, but gray, like a muted gray.
So, same as what he had under his nails.
Correct.
Okay.
That's kind of what I put together. So it's like, what was he doing? Okay, that's one of the actually out of character. I don't know. You can speak with Deb, but that's really one of the questions we want to ask him when
Yeah,
we.
hey bro, why was there rat poison under your nails?
I wonder if he
What's
was...
up with that, bro?
I wonder if he was making a concoction to share with some of other doctor dude who wouldn't let him go and check his luggage, or with Jigsaw, who's his competition, and he figured that maybe putting a sprinkle of rat poison in there was going to be an easy way to off him. And then he tried to pull the Princess Bride thing, and it's like, which cup is the poisoned one? And he chose wrong.
I am actually leaning further into my previous theory that, like, everyone on this train was trying to kill him, but the plans all canceled out, and then he died of natural causes.
It seems like he was trying to kill someone. So.
Everyone on this train was trying to kill someone else, except for maybe Andrus.
Yeah, I've just rolled a dice, and it's like, what murder's happening today? Oh, 17, it's Bates.
Like, even Raptor's got a vendetta against someone for some reason and is plotting something in his head. Alright, so also...
I'm just, like, glaring at Silent Bob, like...
Didn't like the moment he saw him. This one's also obvious since you're checking out the desk. There is a bottle, and it's full of little red pills.
Ooh, bottle of little red pills.
Wait, this is, I mean, it's probably his medicine.
Yes.
He was on Primarin.
Can I roll medicine to figure out medicine, or would that be nature?
Is there a label on the bottle?
There is no label on the bottle.
Darn, we can't tell whether it's medicine or Tic Tacs.
I think we can sniff it and make an educated guess.
I got a 6.
6. It smells super sour and metallic. Like if calcium and, sweet and sour pork had a baby. So it is very ripe.
Okay, so that's probably not Tic Tacs.
We actually never figured out why he needed medicine. I mean, we could ask the Voorhees if we really wanted to know.
Well, Dr. Lecter was the big orc guy who was like, no, you just go back to your cabin, go take your pills. We'll check the luggage later. So Dr. Lecter, we need to chat with later on as well.
Steal one of those pills to see if I can feed it to something later to see what happens.
Wherever we find this one person, we can do all these experiments on. That's
yeah.
Bad.
I mean, we could. Yeah, I'm just thinking of that scene from A Study in Scarlet where he kills the dog.
Oh.
Yeah. And since we're in here, can everyone make me perception checks? Because I assume you're just sort of giving the room a once over. 18, nice, Marsh.
Another natural one. I've done 2 rolls in this session. Both been nat ones.
You're very tired.
You were woken up far too early.
Yeah, by, the incessant crying of a very sad man. So, Marsh and Naroke, as you're going about the bedroom and stuff, I think, like, Marsh, you're checking his bed, and you see a little bit of fur, kind of on the post. I'll say it's like a 4-post bed. His room's a little bit fancier than yours. And Marsh, you also see a little bit of fur caught on, by the door, as if it was, rubbed off.
Like clearly animal fur?
Yes, it very much looks like animal fur.
Door to the, on the door to the cabin?
Yes, coming in.
I guess I'll just try to do a quick nature check to see if I can figure out what animal that would be.
Absolutely.
8 again.
This animal
You're doing
probably had teeth. Like some sort of wild beast thing.
Okay, so you've ruled out Stingray.
Yes. So, yeah, that rules out the furry animals I can think of that don't have teeth, which is,
Platypus?
I guess, yeah. I think that might be it. Capybaras have teeth? I haven't checked.
Pretty sure they have
I'm not
teeth.
even sure they have mouths. I've never seen a capybara with its mouth open.
Yeah. So other than the usual fanfare of his luggage, his clothes, nothing else seems out of the ordinary. Pillows are normal. Bed was, I don't know, slept in.
Can I sniff the sheets? I promise this isn't weird.
Yeah, slept it away.
If he was poisoned, he might have been sweating some of it out.
Yep, that's fair.
Also, we may end up finding out what the last scent of his night with Voorhees was.
Yeah.
The sheets They still smell quite fresh, like as if they were recently laundered.
Hmm.
Like
So
they're
maybe-
not. Yeah.
Has the bed been slept in?
The bed has been slept in, but
Okay.
you're not getting like a strong whiff of like sweaty old man.
So he slept in it once.
I mean, the train left a day ago, so I
Yeah.
think that lines up. Yeah, I kind of want to ask Jigsaw some things, but some very incriminating things.
I want to go talk to Silent Bob, who, if I recall correctly, is the hunter who had all the furs in his luggage.
That he is.
Oh,
Hunter with
let's
a luggage full of pelts.
Let's
Yeah,
collect
that's
some of
correct.
his fur then, so then we can, instead of trying to remember things, we can just directly compare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just take one of the vials and just collect that. Ooh, portraits, and collect that stuff.
We're just gonna move these colorful characters away.
Bye.
So, not knowing where everyone is necessarily sleeping, you go to the passenger car to see if your old pal Silent Bob is still there, and sure enough, he is.
Are these two
So-
the ladies that Nick has been tormenting?
They are the ladies that are in their usual spot.
So we need to get Silent Bob talking about tanning techniques then.
Perhaps. This is Jigsaw, the sprightly weirdo in his colorful striped attire. And Silent Bob is here staring stoically out the window.
You go ask him what animal this might be from.
I don't know what conversation I want to join, or just quickly go up to Jigsaw and ask him.
I feel like if anyone is going to weird Jigsaw out to the point where he actually reveals something, it would be Marsh.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like give one of you guys like the fur sample, and I'll just sit beside Jigsaw.
Okay, I'm gonna sit across from Silent Bob, but I'm not going to be paying attention to Silent Bob for now. Instead, I'm gonna look out the window and then try to eavesdrop on the Martian Jigsaw conversation.
Oh no!
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is doable. As you approach,
Yeah, I'm gonna give Marsh a bit of a pep talk beforehand. It's like, now listen, you know that thing where you try to be normal during conversations?
Yes.
All of that goes out the window.
Wait, so don't be normal, or
Don't be normal. Be the least normal you've ever been.
So now the question is though, is
Marsh ponders what that means for a bit, because Marsh thinks he's normal.
see now the question is though, like, is trying to weird Silent Bob out going to be the way to actually get information out of him,
Oh,
or
no,
just
this isn't
have?
Silent Bob. This is Jigsaw.
Or I mean Jigsaw, I mean.
Smooth. Jigsaw's smooth. Nick can't crack Jigsaw. What can crack Jigsaw? It's just the weirdest fucking person he's ever met sitting across from him and asking him a bunch of apparently unrelated questions.
Marsh only has one question, but it might lead to more questions.
Marsh, I need you to be just the most yourself you've ever been.
I also sat directly beside Jigsaw, not
which is
across from him.
great.
Yeah, it's just
Just
really
sits down.
terrible train etiquette.
Naroke, what are you doing in all this? Are you standing and watching, or are you?
I'm just gonna go sit with the old ladies.
All right, perfect. Okay. So real quick, Dominic, as you sit across from Silent Bob, he gives you like a grunt and a nod, but otherwise doesn't pay attention to you. Naroke, the ladies here, they kind of stop their conversation a little bit and give you a look, and then kind of like a hesitant smile, and then like go closer to each other and whisper.
Nora's just gonna smile out and then stare at the window.
Right.
Fully aware that he's sitting in the aisle seat and staring out over the empty seat and out the window.
Marsh, Jigsaw, he's wearing like a super floofy, feathery hat today with just plumes going out every which way. And as you sit down, he doesn't seem the least bit perturbed that you're taking the seat right beside him, and he's gonna lift it up with a flourish and give you a slight bow.
I kind of bow without a hat, and I'm just like, hello, I've heard you're Jigsaw?
That I am. Hello, what can I do for you?
Hey, my friends tell me you're good with the chemicals and the regents and all that stuff.
I like to think I am. I've been studying for my whole life.
Hey, how much you know about Gerathamine?
And so his eyes kind of like widen when you say that, and he's like, as much as any respectable, law-abiding person would know, which is to say, very little.
Yeah, I take out one of the vials and it's just like, yeah, like this kind of like powdery substance.
He's gonna push your hand down when you pull it out. Like just to try and be like, I don't see it. Like, but yeah, stop it. And,
But
like, uh, I'm sorry, I have a question of my own. Why are you asking about such odd things?
Oh, I guess I'll get straight to the point. Do you know what the can you die from like Gerathamine overdose?
Uh, you, he, he's gonna lean in and like start to whisper and kind of like encourage you to lower your voice and say, "You can die from an underdose. It's just a very deadly substance. So yes, that that is the understatement of the year. Yes, you can die from a triathamine overdose.
Like,
Are you early?"
no, it's afternoon, I think. But like, is it like a heart attack or?
His head is dying. Um, and you kind of look around again, make sure no one's looking at you guys' conversation, and say, quite often, yes. You
Oh, I
know,
guess
the.
I, I go like, I just gonna say, oh well, that answers that. Okay, is there anything you want to ask me, or I guess I'll leave.
Hey, you know what? I do have questions, but I don't think I care enough to really get to the meat of the matter. Can we say this conversation never happened?
Sure. Okay.
Perfect. Uh, lovely chat.
Be around.
Nick is just sitting by the window trying not to die.
Yeah, I'll just, I don't know, I'm just gonna move to this chair.
Congratulations, the unshakable jigsaw has now been shook with your nonchalant.
When in doubt, instead of good cop, bad cop, it's weird cop, dumb cop.
It's like no First thought about it, it's like no guards on this train. It's fine. Or this train
Probably
car.
fine.
It's
Those
true.
two old ladies are narcs.
No. Random inspection tonight.
Shoot, there are no guards. Whoops. Anyways, I'm sure that won't come back and
Whoopsie.
bite me in the butt. I mean, no guards that you know of.
I feel like in this campaign particularly, you need to never ever forget to put guards in a situation.
Yeah, that's becoming more apparent as we go.
I mean, to be fair, the last time that there was guards around, we ended up having them turn on the mayor too. So,
This is true. I don't think guards help.
if anything, they help us.
So, Marsh, you didn't ask for any more specifics of Dryathamine, what habits. So, yes, he.
Actually, before I leave, I'll ask if he knows where it comes from. The plant, the flower.
I think you asked somebody this already, but
Yeah, we already have the answer.
He doesn't know that, and he's going to say, it grows in times of the ultimate hardship.
Yeah, it grows on dead people, didn't you know?
And he's just going to turn and look out the window, because
Now
why did
it's
you bother asking?
Marsh was like actually like curious a little if he like could get more information about that whole like growth thing, but he didn't know, so I guess Marsh will leave now.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we did get confirmation that that's Dryathamine in the vials, judging by his reaction.
I mean, I showed it to him. I the vial. One of the
Yeah, and he immediately shoved your hand down.
Yes. So
Also,
you have
we
a
got
sense-
confirmation that Dryathamine overdose would cause a heart attack.
Yeah, essentially. That a heart attack could be an outcome of diathamine overdose.
Okay.
I guess I was kind of letting the conversation like fly a little too much. I would have like waited to see if he was gonna say if there was other potential like noticeable side effects, but I don't know if he'd actually tell me.
Oh, you know what? Sure, he would have been like, sweating and clammy hands and paranoia. It's often part of the withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, one's very
Interesting.
frantic. Yes. So yeah, he'll give you that.
Cool.
Interesting information.
And just to clarify, there was like 5 vials of this stuff in Bates's room.
Empty vials, yes,
Empty vials. Oh.
but there was some white residue
Okay.
on said vials, and a practically untouched bottle of pills.
I think every time we need to go talk to Jigsaw, we send Marsh to do it.
Eventually, he might stop talking to me, but I don't know.
It is very difficult not to talk to a giant lizard who's in your face about it. Asking questions.
It's uncomfortably close.
Well, I think that's Marsh's conversation done.
Marsh walks into the bathroom and uses the urinal like right next to somebody else when there's nobody in there.
Yeah, big long lineup, and it's like, I'm gonna stand right beside you.
Oh no.
So what's happening with Silent Bob?
Yeah. So once Nick has recovered from the experience of overhearing that conversation,
Yes.
I'm gonna take a look at the fur on Silent. But you said he was wearing a fur last time, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, that's correct. He is covered in like pelts and stuff, and he's got like 3 suitcases, like one on the seat beside him, 2 at his feet, and they are overflowing with various pelts, beaver tails, this, that, and the other. It's just, yeah.
Does anything he's wearing or have on him match the color of the fur that was in the doorway?
Yeah, for sure. He's got some. It's sort of like a gray, mostly gray fur sample that you have, but the tips are kind of white at the top.
Interesting.
And yeah, that matches. I would say it matches sort of the cape-like fur he's got on him.
Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna like pretend to half-heartedly glance at the ruff he's got on and be like, "Oh, that's a beautiful color."
And he's gonna just nod and grunt in response.
What's that from, by the way? Like, what kind of animal?
He thinks for a sec, and then he'll turn, so he's kind of like a profile, and go,
Ah, okay.
I don't know if you got that, and you can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, that's
Silent Bob is a mine. Got it.
Yeah.
They didn't hear him coming.
Okay.
That was bad.
Writing stuff down here.
For sure. You'll notice that Silent Bob does not ask you any questions.
How rude.
Rude. Yeah. He doesn't seem...
Yeah,
Go on.
yes, no questions.
Or was that he can pantomime?
Exactly. Yeah. He doesn't seem upset by your presence. In fact, after a moment, he'll open up the briefcase that's sitting on the seat beside him and like gesture to it as if like, because you seemed like maybe you're interested in
Yeah,
furs,
I'll take a look.
So he'll kind of push some stuff out aside to let you look, because you get the sense that he sells this, so
Yeah.
your interest is appealing to him.
Yeah. So I will appreciatively sift through the furs because I am an overdramatic bitch who loves luxury products. And as I'm going through, I'm going, oh, so you're on the way to sell these, I would assume.
I'll nod, yeah.
Have you had any takers on the train on the way here?
He nods
Yeah,
and
Yeah, I guess you know the old ladies over there would probably be some takers. What about that that really famous guy who got on the train? Bates or something like that? No, not a taker, huh? That's too bad. So I will make chit chat for the next little bit, and then I will see if I can find a fox fur.
Well, yeah,
A
easy.
whole fox pelt.
In fact, the fox pelt that you find is a little kind of off-putting because it's also like the head of it that has been expertly.
I'm looking for
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for that. And I'll pull out the fox fur and be like, oh man, I love fox. How much is this one? So that's 3 gold. All right, I'll hand over the 3 gold.
See, now the question is he missing this finger? Which is why I was this. Okay. I figured I'd check.
Yeah. Cool. I will mark off the 3 gold. Now I have a fox fur.
You do have a fox fur. Well, like beautiful, nice shine to it, luxurious, fully intact. He's good at what he does. And it's worth noting that as you were going through that big old briefcase of furs, there was quite a few animals that were completely intact as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just the like back end pelts and whatnot. So
Sweet.
A lot of creepy faces.
Like the cat.
The cat. Yeah.
Cool. So now I have a really ostentatious ruff fur if I need it.
Nice.
Yes. So that is Silent Bob. Anything else for him?
No, I'm gonna wander away from the conversation with Silent Bob after that.
And Naroke, is there anything specific you were needing to do to torture the ladies, or are you just listening on their gossip?
What are they talking about currently?
They were talking about a fight on the train, talking about how they were led on one of the early crews, or people that were led on, right after the Kruger and Sons company. And there was a very loud fight happening by the sleeping carts. And it was so hard to like not eavesdrop because the fight was just insanely loud. And it was between Bates and his son, Norman.
Norman was here.
Yes.
Maybe just like on a cell phone call.
Just one of these, like, And his dad is like, don't ignore me. So you hear them talking about a fight.
Can't question these ladies, they hate me, so it's all on you, Naroke.
So true.
So they're gonna hate all of us in about 30 seconds. Okay. No, as they're talking about the fight between Bates and Norman, Naroke's gonna kind of pipe up. It's like, so do you mind if I ask what the fight was about? Like, there's, as I'm sure you've heard, there's been an incident on the train, so we're just trying to get all the details.
Yes. Well, we heard there was an incident. We don't quite know details, but that fight, from what I could tell, quite odd. Norman, the younger fellow, the son, was very perturbed at his father for a recent purchase he had made.
Do you know what kind of purchase it was?
Some sort of repellent. Dear, what? An animal repellent? And then the girl beside her is gonna say like a deer repellent or a wolf repellent. I didn't quite catch the animal. Just some sort of to keep you safe.
Have you met Bates before?
Nope, neither of us have.
Okay. You probably have a better idea of where exactly we're heading, or where exactly the train heading. Are deer and wolves a large problem there? It seems like a bit of an odd purchase.
I suppose it would be. You find the regular fanfare of animals for sure. There are rumors of werewolves, but that's never been confirmed, neither here nor there. There's all sorts of sightings, but no one's ever even died to a werewolf. It's just folklore.
Oh, fair enough. I've never been bitten by one myself, so I would not know.
Oh, I should hope not. Perhaps that was the repellent he was buying? And she's gonna turn to her friend, and her friend just kind of shrugs, like, I don't know.
Bates buying werewolf repellent.
Wolf mace.
Now that it exists in that
Colloidal
universe,
silver.
See, the thing is, you say werewolf mace, but now I'm just imagining, like, rather than, like, bear mace, like an actual, like, weapon bludgeoning mace, except it's just made out of a werewolf. So it's just, like, this stick with a giant werewolf on the end, just whack.
I think the silver makes more sense, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
100%.
improvise an anti-werewolf weapon, we can do a sock full of quarters with silver coins in it.
Yup.
Bludgeoning damage.
Silver!
Yup.
just picture your entire party attacking a poor werewolf.
Werewolf.
Socks.
Please, stop
Sock
it.
full of quarters.
Any other questions?
So, like, after the fight occurred, what happened, just out of curiosity?
Well, Bates went off to his room, and I don't think he came out again. He wasn't seen. We didn't see him the rest of the journey. And Norman, I'm not sure where Norman went. His son, the younger fellow, but he stormed off, still huffing about a silly purchase. A waste of money.
And from what you know of Bates, he's very wealthy, correct?
Well, correct. Kruger and Sons is the leading, company for medicinal wares in these parts.
Makes me wonder how much that werewolf repellent must have cost. But thank you very much for your time, ladies. It's been a pleasure.
Of course. Take care now. What's a nice dearie?
Doesn't talk about train crashes at all.
Well, you need sometimes.
It's a shame the company he keeps, however. You hear over your shoulder.
Give him a happy little wave.
She scowls and turns away. Yeah. So that is that's the ladies for you.
Okay.
This is veering towards a werewolf plot, although werewolves don't kill people via heart attack.
Unless the werewolf showed up, transformed into a werewolf, and he died of a heart attack out of fright. He was originally intending on letting him bite him and become a werewolf, but werewolf showed up, transformed, he had a heart attack, and the werewolf was like, shit, I gotta leave before they catch me, and then hoofed it.
Jesus!
Can werewolves change at will? Was he just like, ah, shit, back to a person? And
No, he just went straight out the window, he's like latched on at the top of the train for the night. It's fine.
Apparently it's specifically the evil werewolves who've embraced the fact that they're werewolves that can change at will. So that's fun.
Yeah, isn't it like there's like a couple different types of werewolves, like the ones that are like becoming a werewolf, and then the one you just pointed out that was just like, yeah, I just live with it, so I can do what I want with it.
I like it.
Get into it.
Well, I guess I'll, kind of eventually. I guess we gather up.
Yeah,
So now mine's just going back to the post of it's like over towards the end of the dock you see a warehouse. It's like, is that like a werewolf except instead of turning into a wolf it turns into a house? It's like, it is now.
Warehouse. Right on.
House of Mimic.
Alright, so
I assume you guys will just make base camp in one of your rooms.
yeah, we'll reconvene and chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking about taunting Holmes, but I didn't.
Oh, he was in the corner. Sorry, I should mention. He's still on that page. Is he visible?
Yeah, he's actually. If we have a moment, I'll just quickly ask him how his investigation is going. I don't think we shared notes, but
He's probably in his mind palace right now.
he's just calculating every possible angle.
Yeah, you can definitely chat to him. He's sitting all lackadaisy, kind of cradling his one elbow and smoking his pipe and shooting up rings and stuff. And he looks smug as a bug in a rug, as per usual.
Oh, so he thinks he's figured the whole thing out.
Yeah, probably. Or he wants you to think that. So what do you say to him specifically?
How goes the case?
My reputation precedes me as good as any other case. I've almost cracked it. Very nearly.
We like shared notes, or is that not good in the spirit of the competition?
It kind of takes away from the sport.
I thought this was a case.
The case, of course. It takes away from the case.
That's it.
Obviously.
Evidence takes away from the case. Well, good luck, I guess.
You as well, little friend. Yeah, he doesn't want to share.
Big lizard, I don't know where little friend came from.
He's trying to make himself feel high and mighty.
Is
Like talking shit to a giant lizard?
is Marsh tall? How tall is Marsh?
Oh man,
You're the
I
big-
figured this out one day. Like, I'm on the short side of lizard folk, but I think that's still 6 feet.
Which
Okay.
is still tall, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't remember if it exactly says on your sheet, but yeah, you're not short by any means. You're actually taller than he is.
I really admire the futility of trying to look cool in front of Marsh. Zero appreciation for anyone trying to look cool.
Or trying to talk up to Naroke. It's like, I'm gonna use big fancy words. It's like, huh?
Wasting your breath.
Yeah, it's trying. Two biggest wastes of times: trying to look cool in front of Marsh and trying to look smart in front of Naroke.
What's the Nick equivalent? I don't know.
Trying to be fashionable.
Probably.
You've seen my vest.
Yeah, alright, so let's say anything you guys want to do on this cart here. I shouldn't force you to meet up yet. There's other rando NPCs about.
Yeah, but the fact that they don't have faces makes me think that talking to them might be a non-starter. Just like, theorizing here.
I think the last NPC that I want to talk to before we maybe huddle is find Voorhees, and I think we got like a good amount of information to work off of.
Yeah,
But I still need a long rest before I can go and pull out the slew of horrible spells.
Yeah, like basically how I'm basically treating today is we're gathering all the information to just throw at those spells you have.
Though to be fair, we do have a few other people that we need to talk to, because we need to talk to Dr. Lecter, we need to talk to Madame Voorhees. It also probably worthwhile going and chatting with
Myers.
Yeah, Myers.
And who found the body.
Parker.
Yeah, the one who was crying, very distraught. Like, those are all people that we should talk to before night ends, and then we can pair the notes, then figure out where we want to burn my spell slots the next day.
And risk fireballing the train.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of spells being slung, and I'd be surprised if none of them surge. It's like, okay, I'm going to cast a spell on the body to see if, so we can chat with them. Suddenly, fireball. The train is now in 2 smoldering pieces. Whoops.
Fireball.
Okay, so that's just... the good news is we don't have to worry about the murder mystery anymore. The bad news is we no longer have a ride to our destination.
Yeah, the bad news, we're now walking.
We have killed the killer. And everyone else.
And we killed everyone on the train, which means technically we did get the killer. And everyone else.
And the motive was we really needed a walk.
On the bright side, if the train is non-functional, that means the heroes probably can't use it either, so win-win.
God,
Hey,
yeah.
if we destroy the world, the heroes can't take control of it.
We get to be smug about it. Not them.
So you're all together plotting destruction. What lead? What do you guys do?
Let's go and chat with Voorhees, Dr. Lecter, and then Myers.
Yeah, finish the gauntlets.
So, Lecter, Meyer. All right. So what you know of Voorhees is she prepares the food for Krugers and Sons. You don't know anything else. So how are you trying to find her?
I mean, it's a small train. Can't be hiding too hard, right?
Yeah, I think with regards to who we should have tackling who, I think Nick would probably be best applied to talking to Myers, because the guy's in a vulnerable position right now, and Nick's talents for manipulation would probably be useful there. If Voorhees is particularly belligerent, I feel like that's a Naroke and or Marsh situation, where
the team.
yeah, this sort of the someone trying to puff themselves up as important is just completely powerless in the face
Completely powerless in the face of idiocy.
Yeah. And as for Dr. Lecter, I just don't know yet. I don't know enough about him to know what would work on him.
The only thing we have to ask Dr. Lecter is about the medicine. I don't think we have too much to go off of on him compared to the
I
other
think
two.
maybe we
even
gather as much information as we can and confront the doctor last.
Well, even I definitely agree that we should confront the. If we're going to do that, we should confront the doctor last. Regarding what we'd want to ask him, he was also one of the people who we had recently seen with Bates, because Bates had his freak out, was trying to get into the luggage, and Lecter had to pick him and carry him back essentially to his room.
And when he was having his freak out, the symptoms were consistent with diathamine withdrawal.
Yep. So yeah, let's chat with Voorhees and Myers, and then we'll go and harass Lecter.
Okay.
Way to finish off the day.
You guys splitting up or doing it all party together?
I think Voorhees maybe first.
Okay.
And then maybe apply, like I said, Naroke and or Marsh to that situation, but have Nick eavesdropping.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, Marsh, do you want to deal with the lady cook, or should I?
I have like a couple questions though. It's probably gonna lead into talking about diathamine, so I don't know if we want to like.
I'll talk to the cook.
Yeah, maybe open with Naroke, and then when we need her to go away, have Marsh start asking the diathamine questions.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I will say she's easy enough to find. You could...
In regards to finding her, wasn't there nameplates on all the doors?
Yes, I was going to say.
And it's like, so we start at Bates's room and just start walking along and just reading all the nameplates.
Exactly. So, let's move the...
So what are some of the things that we want to ask her, though?
Okay,
like,
I'll just put you outside the door, and then you can...
Yeah, I think, like, the biggest things is, like, I think Voorhees saw Bates the most before Bates's death, so she probably has something she can give us in regards to that. And we could talk about the food. That's one thing, another thing.
True.
Oh, wait, we heard she was hot, right?
Apparently.
Yes.
Okay, like MILF hot or like young person hot?
We haven't opened the door yet.
Like, oh yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
We've seen her
Okay,
once, haven't we?
Last resort, you guys clear out and Nick goes for the seduction angle.
What, you don't think that Naroke is a charismatic individual?
Especially if she's MILF hot. She'll be really grateful for the attention.
I just feel like, what's behind this door?
Like, oh, by the way, we brought you a present.
This woman is grieving, and you're all just bringing your own brand of crazy onto her one after the other.
Listen, if you keep throwing spaghetti at the wall, eventually it's going to stick.
That is this investigation.
You're going to brute force every interrogation in this.
Correct. Where are we?
We're outside of Voorhees' room.
You're outside Madame Voorhees' room. All right. Dun 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 dun. There's her room.
She's not in the room?
She's not in the room.
Any sign of where she might be?
Nope. Do you want to search her room, or are you just going to skedaddle away?
I'm just going to take a quick cursory glance around.
I almost want to immediately go to the freezer, because I got a bad gut feel.
I, considering how I've been rolling today, I'm not going to search the room. I'm going to keep a lookout outside.
Okay, that makes sense.
North's going to take a quick cursory look around the room, see if there's anything that stands out.
I'll assist. I'll assist.
Apparently Naroke is distracted.
Alright.
He's still running over in his brain how to introduce Nick if Voorhees is MILF hot. Also trying to figure out what the hell is MILF hot.
So, between the brain cell that Naroke and Marsh are sharing
The whole
in the room, your attention is away from her desk, and there is a bright lacy blue brassiere draped across the bed, and that is like totally got you fixated. Like massive brassiere.
massive, you say? Okay.
The evidence continues to mount for Milfoot.
I guess she had to leave in a rush or something?
Well, either that, or she went to go and visit Bates and then realized, oh no, he's dead.
It's a
Oh,
train.
no.
There's a minimum.
Oh, and there's a minimum, and then Carson crashed. Okay, sorry, you have to repeat that. There's a minimum, and then your mic and audio froze.
Oh, okay. I was saying it's a train. There's like a minimum, like there's a maximum number of places she could be.
Yeah, well, specifically, like,
Marsh
why the
died.
brassiere's on the bed is like, maybe she went to Bates, and then it's like, got there, oh no, he's dead, I better skedaddle, and then got back here, and it's like, okay, fuck it, too early. Blech.
I was gonna say, after Nick said that, I guess I'll just, sigh and head to the next nearest cart and just knock on the door.
No, I'm here.
Oh.
So you do that. Sorry, F. Alright, so... And I didn't have this prepared. Hang on. I didn't think you're...
Oh, wait, there's a person?
There's a person in there. So when you knock on the door, a man approaches and enters and says, hello, yes? And his eyes are kind of puffy and red and bloodshot.
Hey, we found Myers.
Hey, do you know where Voorhees went? We're looking for
her. She's kind of looking around the kitchens, I imagine.
Oh, that... Yeah, that makes... Okay, close the door. Okay, and then I went...
Close the door in his face and then walk off.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, alright.
I'm just curious, like, what you're writing down. It's like...
Don't worry about it. So I assume you guys then are going to the kitchens.
Yes, yeah.
Since we're right beside Myers' room, do we want to shunt Nick in to talk with Myers?
Divert Nick into talking to Myers.
Is that the nameplate on the door?
It's a lot of guilty looks over. I wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I guess I will go to Myers' room. See, this is where we're gonna find Ms. Voorhees.
We also can't currently click on any of our tokens.
Oh yeah, we
Really?
don't have
We
access
have no
on
control.
the card.
My apologies, that's...
We do have access on the other card, but not this one.
I thought I just copy-pasted from that, but apparently I didn't. So, let's fix that. I mean, all should be good with the world now, hopefully. Can you move them?
Yay! Yeah. Okay. So is Myers is Myers the guy in F?
I don't know. Is Myers the guy in F?
I don't ask if that was the
Yeah, his
nameplate on the
name's
door, and then you didn't answer.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear that part. I thought you were just assuming it was Myers. It says Norman Bates.
Oh, it's the
Shit,
son!
He is here.
Time to go talk to little boy.
Maybe later. I am still looking for Myers, so I'm gonna check the nameplates on the other cabins.
Okay. Well, you would... It wouldn't take you long to go up and down, and you would find it here. Outside this door, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a polite little knock.
Okay. And you hear shuffling on the other side, and then a man appears. A man
Eventually.
appears.
A man eventually appears.
Yes.
Is this? Do I recognize this as Myers? Because as I recall, he was the guy yelling about somebody being dead.
You do recognize this as Myers, who was crying, sobbing, talking to Holmes and the conductor and a train attendant. And he continues to look just beside himself. He's all disheveled. There's like dried tear tracks down his face. He's got a handkerchief he's blowing into. And he he comes when you knock on the door, and before even like registering who you are, he says, "Yes, is there any news?" And then kind of recognizes that you're a stranger to him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Myers. I'm sorry to disturb you. I'm working with Mr. Holmes on the murder investigation. I was wondering if you had time to answer a few questions.
Of course,
Very apologetic in all of the posture.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's into it because he is just grieving and super sad, and you're not unassuming or you're not like superimposing and whatnot. And he's happy to have your aid in this, so he will usher you into his cart.
Okay. Quick scan of the room, real quick.
Quick scan of the room. What do you see? There's a couple pouches on the desk in the room. There's also a chest that is identical to the one that was in Lord Bates's room. It's not open, but it's
Probably
the
also
same
filled
kind
with
of-
Therathmine.
Did we ever open that chest? Was that where we found the pills?
That was where the Drathmine vials were.
Ah,
It was open in Bates's room.
Okay.
So this one's closed, but exactly the exact same chest.
The pouches, are we looking like money pouches or drug pouches or what?
Seems to look like money pouches.
Okay.
Kind of cloth, ornate, beautiful. Everything in this room is ritzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and he'll sit down on his bed here and say, what would you like to know? How can I help?
I'm just trying to clear up a couple of the details around the events leading up to, well, what happened. And first off, I've been hearing a lot about how he wouldn't eat anything that wasn't prepared by his cook. Do you know why that was?
Yes, Lord Bates always had a more refined taste, and when he met Madame Voorhees 8 or so years ago, fell in love with the woman and, by proxy, her cooking. It was just a quirk of his that he would only eat food prepared by her. Takes her everywhere. Rest his soul. Yeah.
Okay, I'm writing stuff down.
Absolutely.
Nick is not writing stuff down. He actually has a good memory, but unfortunately I have dumb bitch disease.
I feel you there. Take your time and ask when you're ready.
Okay. And how was he in himself? I know he was behaving a little erratically. How long was that going on prior to, the event?
I'm not too sure what you mean by erratic behavior. He seemed completely himself, as per normal.
I've been hearing about an incident on the train earlier where he tried to get into the luggage cart.
I'm not too sure about that. Now, he has been a little under the weather lately, and Dr. Lecter has been overseeing his care. He's had a kind of a heart murmur for a while now, but that hasn't instilled any weird behavior in him. He's just needed to take his medicine, and the doctor ensures he stays on it.
Okay. Did he seem afraid of anything or anxious about anything recently?
Well, I suppose he was fighting with Norman earlier. That could have caused a bit of anxiety in him.
Do you know what the fight was about?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear. They're always kind of fighting these days. That Norman's... he's trouble. And he's gonna kind of lean forward, and he's actually gonna go. He's gonna close the door, not in like not in a sinister way, but in like just close the door and then come closer and say, between you and me and Holmes, I think it was Norman who was responsible for his father's untimely demise.
Why do you think that?
He stands to gain everything from his father's death. He will inherit his share of the company, all of his assets, all of his wealth. Everything goes to him. His will's already made. It's a matter of finalizing it when we eventually get home. And the company, Kruger's and Sons, will fall for it.
Do you know who was the beneficiary of Bates's will before this new will was written?
I do not have that information, no. But no one on this train stood to gain more than Norman does. And I know they were fighting.
And I need you to stop making noise. She's angry because she hasn't been fed.
Oh. Well, it is 2:30. If we need to stop and take a break to feed your cat, we can wrap up Myers and let you feed your cat.
Yeah, I think I got a couple more questions for Myers though. This thing
Perfect.
with the will, has me fascinated. I did not know there was a new will and possibly a previous beneficiary who had something to lose.
Well, Bates and I, we've been partners for years, and I know almost everything there is to know about him. But my understanding, his late wife was the original beneficiary of, all of his assets, should the unfortunate ever happen. And then with her passing, the will kind of changed and was all moved to his son.
You know what happened to the wife?
Died on a train in a mysterious heart attack.
She did not. A train-related incident. She died of an overdose. I don't know of what. He keeps that very close to, or he kept it very close to himself. It was what kind of drove his passion for remedies and, trying to do good by those who are ill.
Alright, I think that's all I've got for now. I may have to come back later at some point just to clear up a few more details, depending on what other people tell us. I think I'd like to run certain details by you just because you seem like a rather reliable source.
I like to think I am. I was very close with Bates.
Yeah, a place like this, a whole lot of very wealthy people with a lot of things to lose. Everyone's got something to hide, right?
It's quite right, and too unfortunate.
Insight.
Oh, yeah.
Want to see how he responded to that?
Yeah, for sure. Insight the hell out of it.
I want to see if he fucking flinched. Please roll good. Oh, that's a 10.
Oh, it's a 10. Yeah, so his flinch might have just been the sob that was racking his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting like a, oh shit, he's onto me kind of vibe from him at all.
Okay. Alright, then I will politely excuse myself and rejoin the group and go feed my cat.
Until he'll say, come back anytime with questions. I want to get to the bottom of this.
Of course.
And that's where we'll leave off for a break real quick. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so.
Alrighty, we shall be back.
Bye.
That and that. And I don't know what you're all talking about. Those nameplates are perfect. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. I absolutely did not fuck up. Actually, I know why it does it too. It's because Discord, depending on whether you do or do not have your cam on, changes your position in the call.
Ah, okay. So the fact that I have my webcam today fucked everything up.
Yeah. Honestly, I should have caught it before the stream, but I was not paying attention because it's like, oh yeah, I just have to hit go and then we're fine.
Yeah.
But they were not fine.
Who was I for the first half of the stream?
You were Tom. And Tom was... Oh no, you were me, I was Tom, Tom was you.
Oh, okay.
Which it also didn't register because the token for Nick was over top of Tom's icon as well. So it's like, oh yeah, of course there's the token for the one person who's not using a webcam. That makes perfect sense.
Everything's fine.
It's fine. Oh god.
Let me just write a note because that's amazing. Buddy.
I am fashionable and good with the things, yeah.
Must be Nick. Self-confidence I know
the
anywhere.
I think the absolute nightmare scenario is that Marsh would dress Nick better than he usually dresses himself.
Oh my god.
So I think that a body swap episode would be absolutely hilarious, especially depending on like who all we include in that body swap. Because it's just the three of us. It's like, okay, either Nick is me or is Marsh, which I don't think Nick would be overly pleased in either of those situations.
get Raptor in the body swap.
Oh,
Get
no.
Raptor in the body swap. Get Endress in the body swap.
There's
Get the
just-
bag of rats in the body swap. Wait, what?
No.
No, the bag of infinite rats is not its own entity.
Now see, Endress gets Marsh's body and is confused as to what this bag of holding is. It's like what this bag is. Like, oh, there's got to be something in here I can use. And like turns it and dumps it out. And blah.
I guess we never did explain it to Andrus. Yeah,
Yeah, she has no idea about the bag of rats.
That's right. That's, well, I'm sure it'll come up eventually. She probably hasn't seen you guys pull out the rats yet.
Well, she'll find out.
At any rate, welcome back where we left off before. Dominic had spoken to Myers and got a little bit of information from him, and may go back to corroborate further stuff down the road as you learn more.
Yes.
So I believe what's next is for Naroke and Marsh to go looking for Voorhees.
In the kitchen.
Yep.
The damn Voorhees, yes. So, I don't have a kitchen cart, so we're just gonna say, it's easy to find. You've been there before. You can smell the cigarettes. You can hear the thorough chopping of old ladies gossiping and prepping food.
The screaming as the grease suddenly lights on fire from the cigarette that's right beside it.
I like to think that one of them has a spell to like quell the flame because it's just so like happens all the time.
Yeah,
That's
every little bit, just reach over control flame.
Level and wizard just to not blow up the kitchen.
Who can be bothered with a pot lid when you can just snap your fingers? Way more efficient. So there is indeed a new entity in the kitchens that there wasn't before. A woman standing well away from the three ladies and seems to be prepping her own ingredients.
What does she look like?
From behind, she has beautiful, beautiful dark hair. It is also kind of long-ish. I have a token for her, but I don't have a kitchen card. Well,
Just
anyways.
throw her on to the regular cart and bowl, and we can take a look.
That's true.
You're
Token
currently
there.
on the.
Yeah. And here we go. So she should
There we
be
go.
visible right here.
Oh, she is hot.
She has like darker skin, deep red lips, dark brown eyes that you can't see right now because they're, she's not facing you. But
Yeah.
for the sake of you're going to talk to her, her eyes are almost so brown they're black, just very deep and rich. She's got her hair just parted to either side, and she seems quite forlorn. She's working, but it doesn't look like her heart's in it, as it were.
What the fuck is she cooking for? Her one customer is dead.
Maybe she doesn't trust the staff, especially after finding like rat poison beside the oregano.
No,
Yeah,
she's got.
she's the one who did that.
The rest of Kruger and Sons, the remaining living Kruger and Sons.
So, son.
Yes. Yeah. So how do you approach? Or what do you do, rather?
Where is my thing? So Naroke's just gonna walk straight up behind her. I've got a couple of questions for you about the late Mr. Bates.
So that was a 5 on your intelligence check. Very nice.
Uh-huh.
So as you walk up nonchalantly, this huge lumbering presence, because she's only, I'd say like 5'6". She's not very tall. She's going to jump and throw the knife, and it just like embeds itself in the wall right ahead of her.
Oh, I thought she was like turning around and throwing the knife at me, just like,
No.
I don't know
ow.
her shit together to do that.
Also trained body.
So she kind of just like tosses it in surprise, and it sticks into the wall, kind of wobbles a little bit. And she's gonna say, I'm sorry. One more time, who are you?
You're supposed to say sharp if you're passing knives around in the kitchen. And Naroke's gonna walk up and pull the knife out of the wall and hand it back to her.
She'll take it, and she's just gonna drop it on the counter, like Kitty got excited. Like she doesn't want to be anywhere near sharp objects right now, and she's got her like attention is fully on you as she's looking up to this giant Goliath beast man.
I have some questions about Mr. Bates. Do you have a moment?
I do, yes. How can I help you?
Do you want to talk here, or should we go somewhere else? And kind of look over to the ladies who were gossiping before.
All three of them are just like looking at you and like got these biggest like shitty grins on their face. Like they want to hear everything. And now your offer to go somewhere else, she's going to take it and say, yes, let's step outside. She'll take you outside the kitchen door, and noticing you, Marsh. Yes.
The two kitchen ladies are like, boo!
Get back here, you coward!
Got something to say it in my face.
And she'll take notice of you, Marsh, and kind of assume that you're with Naroke and guide you both out of the kitchen and slam the kitchen door for good measure.
But most kitchen doors are swinging doors, so it's boom, boom, boom.
Yes, the effect is lost. I've already spoken with the detective, but I'm willing to be of any use to you as I can.
Yes, we're working with the detective. We're essentially gathering each our own information and been comparing afterwards. So we just wanted to make sure that information given is also consistent.
Of course.
Can you tell us what happened last night and this morning?
Yes. Well, when we boarded the train, I got straight to work on preparing meals for everyone. There was she's gonna kind of look to the kitchen and say a little mishap with ingredients. I needed some oregano and was not paying close enough attention and unfortunately put rat poison in Mr. Bates' meal, but he didn't really eat it. He, the mistake was called to attention before he consumed anything. He had just simply held it. So I did not poison him, if that's what your concern is.
I'm simply gathering information. I've made no judgments at this point.
Of course.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the meal?
Oh, it was, like a, what's an old-timey word for hamburger?
Burger?
The old hamburger. Yeah, it's a burger.
Salisbury steak?
Yeah, in a bun.
Is there a Salisbury?
There is
a meat
now.
patty. A ground meat patty.
Yeah.
With oregano on it?
I'm Italian.
Very exotic tastes.
Yeah.
You don't put oregano on?
Fish.
So he held the burger, but he did not eat it?
Correct. A kitchen staff burst in, luckily in time, before he had a chance to sample the meal, and I got to fixing it right away, prepared him something new, and then waited in my car until it was going to be, time to make breakfast for him. I went straight to my bed car, went to sleep, got up in the morning, came straight to the kitchen to make a meal when I heard about the news.
So after the meal, the faltered meal, and then of course delivering him a proper one, you had spent the entire night in your cabin.
Correct. Yes, that is where I spent my night.
Did Bates pay you a visit during the night?
No, he did not. He seemed to be feeling a little under the weather. His heart condition, I think, was acting up. He seemed quite frantic about something.
I was just thinking a quick question. Did Bate have any sort of habit, maybe of the illegal kind that you know about?
None that I'm aware.
Okay. And then I'll be quiet.
So we had taken a brief visit to your cart earlier when we were trying to find you. and had taken a very brief peek inside, seeing if you were there. Do you normally sleep in Brazier?
Yes, I like the coverage.
They don't seem to offer much coverage.
She looks like she wants to slap you, but your face is too far out of her reach.
Honestly, I'm willing to believe she's the killer just on the basis of the fact that she sleeps in a bra. It's the most deranged thing I've ever heard.
Her kind of easy nature seems to be shifting a little as she's kind of agitated that you are in her cart. She seems like slightly more defensive about that, and looks just a little concerned that you were in there.
Kind of putting, like, actually,
Are you making an intelligence roll?
No, I was making an insight roll. Basically, like, is she offended at the fact that we were in there, or is she offended at the fact that we might have caught her in a lie?
What was your question beforehand? Oh no, you were just telling her about the room. That you were in the room.
I mentioned that we were in the room and asked her if does she always sleep in a brazier, and then she got really uppity that she likes the coverage, quote unquote.
Yes. Okay. And so you're trying to see if she's lying about like sleeping.
Yeah, because basically, like, the questions leading up to that had been, like, had she gone to see him? Had he gone to see her? Basically, was there an intended rendezvous that night that did or did not happen?
Those questions.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Like, is she being honest? Yeah.
Is she being honest? And you got a nat at that?
A nat 20.
Oh, she's lying through the teeth about where she was. She, yeah, maybe she was in her room for a time, but you can tell that she was not only in her room.
So, I do not appreciate being lied to. And you're a very bad liar. So let's take a couple steps back. What did you do after you delivered him a proper meal?
I went to my room. I gathered some things, went and delivered the rest of the meals to Myers and Norman and Dr. Lecter, everyone who is here from Kruger and Sons, as is my duty. And then I went back to my room after finishing my tasks.
And did anyone visit you through the night?
No.
Has her disposition changed at all? Or do I still feel she's lying through the teeth?
You don't feel she's lying through the teeth. You think what she's saying is correct, but the devil's probably in the details that she's giving you. About, yeah.
So maybe she went to go see someone else.
And, at what time did you return to your cabin?
It was dark. It was late. With all the commotion of my unfortunate mishap in the kitchen, things took longer than normal. I'm not sure the exact time. It's quite late at night.
Late at night or early in the morning?
Well, those lines tend to blend really easily. A couple seconds is all it takes for one to be the other. Perhaps it was early morning.
Less bullshit.
Perhaps it was early morning.
And might I inquire as to where you spent the majority of the night?
Well, like I said, I was feeding the crew. Dr. Lecter, Myers, and Norman. I prepare their meals individually and deliver them. Takes up a lot of time.
I may be an awful cook, but it shouldn't take the entirety of the night to deliver 3, maybe 4 meals.
I had to cook 3, maybe 4 meals, and I was quite distraught.
Why were you distraught?
Because I had almost poisoned Lord
Hear
Bates.
that?
No, we can't.
No, what is it?
No.
The cat going buck wild?
She's yelling.
Oh, that's
We can't
awesome.
we can't hear the cat yelling.
She's not impressed with you.
It's like, you fed me, but this is not the right food. I want all the other food.
Cereal.
I want steak.
Yeah, take your time. Yeah, so she'll explain that it took a long time because, you know, she was upset about the events unfolding as they did, and she feels kind of guilty that she could have hurt her employer. And she also had to come back and cook each meal and deliver it, and perhaps that's why it took a long time.
Was there anyone's room who stayed a longer period of time? And once again, this isn't accusatory. What you do in your personal time is up to you. I've got no qualms with it. But we're trying to get to the bottom of a potential murder. So we are requesting your full cooperation. And as of this moment, you are being less than cooperative, which does paint a rather suspicious air about you. I'd like to clear that air, if at all possible.
What you think of me matters not. But if you must know, his son, Norman, was in a bit of a mood, and I stayed to talk with him for quite some time after delivering his meal. He had been fighting with his father, and I was trying to help smooth things out.
Can I insight that?
Yeah, for sure. Even Marsh can. Like, Marsh, if you ever think anything's fishy,
Oh, darn,
you
only
can
11 that time.
jump in on it.
Move things out.
Smooth things out.
I think this particular
In a
example, I think
bit of a mood.
Marsh, was going to hold off from doing an insight, but yeah.
You don't have to. Like, yeah. So Naroke, that makes complete sense because you heard the two ladies huffing about the loud fight that they had, and that seems totally legitimate that if they were fighting so badly, that his essentially kind of stepmom in a way, because Madame Voorhees and Lord Bates are together, it
Yeah.
would make sense that she's there to try and be like, hey, your father and I are going through, you know, like, it's fine, you'll be okay,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And I was gonna ask, like, I had heard that there had been a fight between the two of them. Do you have details as to what that fight was about?
Well, they fight about a lot these days, but this one was about an unfortunate purchase that Lord Bates had made on essentially snake oil. It doesn't work. He had bought a substance that was meant to protect one against foul creatures, vampires, werewolves, demons. It's glorified water. For a man who's so big into alchemy, Norman was quite perturbed at his short-sightedness at buying such a fool's, remedy.
How expensive was this evil repellent?
75,000 gold?
Oh, so a hefty purchase at that.
Yes. A drop in the bucket, of course, but still a noticeable amount.
And kind of look over to Marsh. It's like, do you have any additional questions?
No, I'm good.
Thank you very much for your time, Madam Voorhees. We are trying to get to the bottom of this so that everyone's mind can at least be put to rest.
Of course. I appreciate you and your concerns, detectives. come back anytime.
Will do. And then they're gonna stroll off.
All right. You have interrogated Madame Voorhees.
And so she is either trying to smooth things over with Norman or shagging him.
Yeah, although
He was in
may
a
be her
bit of a
ally
mood.
and vice versa.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not he'll admit to having seen her.
Hmm.
Maybe we should just cut straight to Norman. I mean, we ran into him completely by coincidence a minute ago.
Yeah, we have Norman and we have Dr. Lecter that we should probably speak to tonight then.
Yeah.
Now that we know that Norman is actually on the train.
I think as we have him fresh in our mind, we should probably do Norman first.
Also, one other thing that we should probably check, and we may have to go and harass Myers again, is to see the will.
I was almost wanting to ask Norman a bit about the will.
So you want to see the will?
Yeah, the reason I'm wondering about the will is if, because right now it's stated that like Norman is the one who's supposed to be like the sole beneficiary essentially of all the of all Bates' stuff, but I'm curious as to whether or not the will has either been altered or changed, and perhaps Voorhees is supposed to be inheriting a whole bunch of shit instead, or if there had been a falling out between Voorhees and Bates, and that Voorhees was supposed to receive some of it, but he changed it to Bates instead. Or he was supposed to change it to Norman instead.
Norman instead.
Which would explain why she tried to poison him, because it's like, if I can off him before he changes the will, it's all mine. That is Aaron's theory. Naroke doesn't contemplate these things. That is Aaron's theory.
Yeah. All right.
As Mel's like making notes, like murder Aaron. Dun, dun,
Yes.
dun.
Exactly.
I recall Myers, saying that the will was with the lawyers at the moment, so I don't think it's on the train. Although I have a hunch about that I would like to pursue at a later time.
I kind of want to bring up the will to Norman, just to see if he has any additional information.
You guys don't know about the will yet until I meet back up with you.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, this is not
the
my
hard
information.
But I mean, I assume you're going to meet up right away.
Probably, yeah.
And
Yeah, because the intent was like you were going to go off to talk with Myers while we went off to talk to Voorhees, and then we were going to meet back up and then all go and beat up Dr. Lecter. At which point we now have additional information that we should sideline to go and beat up Norman. I mean, question him gently.
is it safe to assume that that's what you're doing, or does anyone want to take a minor trip and do something elsewhere before you meet up?
I was wondering if what time of day is this?
I'm gonna say it's getting early evening. I like to think that this was taking a while, just trying to find people and suss out and plan. So it's probably 3:30.
And we probably would have stopped and eaten at some point during the day as well. And
That's true. They would have offered you food, all expenses paid, kind of thing.
At some point when it's later in the day, I want to go back to the luggage cart, and I want to check Bates's sample case for any secret compartments or things like that might contain a contentious will or something like that. Because Bates seemed really desperate to get back to the luggage cart, and that could be because that's where his drugs were. Except that I recall that we looked inside and did not see anything that looked particularly illegal drug-like or diathany-like.
yeah, because the
There's
murderer
something
for
going on with that case. Whether there's a secret compartment with drugs in it or a secret compartment with somebody's will in it.
yeah, and it's the kind of thing too where if because my theory could also go the other way of after his argument with Norman, he is like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna leave it all to Voorhees instead," and you get nothing.
Yeah. Also, his thought that he was being pursued by werewolves may not be entirely unfounded, considering that there was what was probably wolf hair on the doorway to his room. The only snafu there, of course, is that werewolves don't kill people by giving them heart attacks. It tends to be a little bloodier than that.
Killed one person with a heart attack in the past.
Well, yeah, like, once again, he goes, werewolf breaks into his room, and then suddenly, like, oh no, they're here! The snake hole did not protect me! Dies, and the werewolf's like, shit, that was easy. Turns around and leaves.
Best $10 I ever made. Or easiest, rather. Yeah,
There's
I don't
really
know.
funny situation there is that there is literally no murderer. He did die of natural causes.
No.
Are you meeting up before you go to the compartment, or are you gonna try and suss that out really quick?
I think we meet up before we go talk to Norman and or Dr. Lecter.
But for you going to investigate the box, are we doing that before we talk to Norman or after?
I'll do that later in the night when there's less people likely to walk in on me going through everyone's luggage.
That makes sense.
I mean, to be fair, last time we did it was like late afternoon. We were both just like rummaging through everyone's shit.
This is true.
Yeah, but people were loading on the train and all excited and stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume then that you guys meet up at the carts there, knowing where Norman's room is. He was who we're going to interrogate first, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Who's leading this one?
And so we've passed around the information that we've learned as well.
Right.
Yeah. What do we think with Norman? Do we want to go weird cop, dumb cop, or perhaps a lighter touch?
He seemed sad when I bursted into his room. So...
Yeah, on the second thought, maybe Marsh should not be there at all.
I'll make
That's fair.
Quiet.
Knock. We're looking for your cook. Giant lizard grin, full of teeth.
Imagine if Raptor was around for all of this, just hanging around Marsh for each one of his encounters. Just being weird.
Every single interview, you could see the interviewee's eyes just slowly drifting periodically to the wooden raptor in the room.
So I'm just imagining, like, every once in a while, Marsh just tells Raptor, smile, you're making them nervous. And just, like, Raptor, big grin, mouthful of teeth.
Alright, so...
Yeah, what is that? Oh, he's my secretary.
He does the paperwork.
It's so good.
He's not very good at it, but he tries his hardest.
Yeah, who's knocking on the door?
I think maybe this should be a Nick and Naroke operation.
Okay.
Sure.
By all means, just gotta pull up my notes. Yeah, alright, so... Knock. You hear some shuffling of bed sheets. And then the door slowly opens to reveal a kind of familiar face. I imagine you both got a quick glance of him when he looked out and met up with Marsh. He's a young man, kind of pretty handsome. And he looks sad. You know, looks like he's been crying, looks like he's been fairly distraught. Not as beside himself as Myers, but seems like very just upset and reserved. And, hello, can I help you?
Hi, Mr. Bates. We're with the detective, Mr. Holmes, who's investigating the demise of your father to make sure that there wasn't any foul play involved. We were just wondering if you had time to answer a few questions.
Of course, anything I can do to be of help.
Right,
and he's going to come out of his room and close the door behind him.
Ha ha ha. I'm wondering if we can lead him away so Marsh can go through his stuff. Yeah, I'm going to catch Marsh's eye over his shoulder, and then I'm gonna say to him, "Do you want to talk here, or would you rather speak somewhere else? Passenger car, maybe, somewhere more private."
Somewhere with food would be fantastic. I am starving.
Actually, yes. Let's the dining car would be great. Voorhees has been late getting food out. I don't know what she's doing. I could use a bite. Thank you.
All right. And I will, as we're leaving, sort of gesture to Marsh to go through his stuff.
Yeah, no one have to tell me twice.
Marsh is like, wow, Nick really has a twinge in his neck. He's got to work that out.
No, see, that's what would happen if it was like, Naroke, go through his stuff. So it's like, you okay, Nick? Like your neck is twitching a lot. Like you might want to get that checked.
Norman?
You want me to steal a second? What is this?
Sorry. Anyways, yeah, and he'll go with you. He'll let you lead him there, and you guys can sit down, having food from the sort of buffet style thing that's there. And he seems very interested in talking. Like he's wanting to, be forthcoming with you guys.
So,
What do you need?
so could you
Let me just revisit my notes here real quick.
Mhm.
Okay.
Naroke's first question is essentially like, so can you go over the details of what you had been up to from the time you'd boarded the train to the unfortunate discovery this morning?
Of course. Well, I'm sure you heard. I'll just cut to the chase there. My father and I were fighting when we boarded the train. It was the first things that your associate Holmes had brought up. I was rather frustrated with my father about irresponsible spending, although that seems silly now, given that he's not with us.
Do you mind if I inquire what the spending was about?
Yes, it was a miracle kind of cure-all spray for the undead and the foul beasts, werewolves, vampires. Oster
scared?
Bay. Oops, sorry, go on.
Was he scared about that kind of thing? That was a concern for him?
Extremely. He had grown more paranoid in his old age about kind of monsters and stuff. He was quite sure he would live to, be 300 years old for a human, which is preposterous, but he thought the only thing that could do him in would be a foul beast, some sort of creature. He has always been afraid of werewolves. And where we're going, I'm sure you've heard, Oster Bay, the area is... There's a lot of myths, legends around these kind of creatures being in abundance. And so my father wanted a bit of extra protection for when we got there, which is absurd. There's no validity to any of the rumors about monsters being near Oster Bay. But you couldn't tell him otherwise, and this con man made off like a bandit, will never have to work another day in his life. My father spent an absurd amount of money on what I'm sure is just water.
That does seem like a bit of an understandable reason to be frustrated, though.
Yes. So, I may have been harsh and loud and cold to my father, and I regret that now, and I will never have a chance to apologize to him. It's all been put in perspective.
Do you know where this idea that he was going to live to 300 came from?
Yes, was working on a sort of cure-all. It's meant to bolster one's endurance and immune system and just body against the usual shortcomings of being human. Regular sicknesses, fevers, blights. He had been taking samples of this for about 7 years now and had supposedly yet to ever get sick with anything. And he believed that this was going to be the miracle drug that saved humanity, and I don't know. It was testing, it was off the records, just a little pet project of his.
So after the fight, what happened?
Well, he stormed off to his room, I believe. I swapped rooms with Myers. I didn't want to be anywhere near my father. I was initially in his kind of train cot area, and I just, moved to a different cot so I could garner some space, kind of cool my head. I didn't leave my cart for the rest of the day. I didn't want to risk seeing my father. I was still very agitated. And I stayed in my cart the entire time.
There was an incident with regards to some rat poison accidentally getting into your father's food.
Yes, I heard. Madame Voorhees. She claims that there was rat poison by the oregano, something or other, and though she thinks the cooks did it on purpose to tease her. Anyways, my understanding is my father didn't eat anything that was poisoned. She brought him new food. And Madame Voorhees seemed very upset and apologetic about the whole ordeal.
Does she make mistakes like this often?
She does. She's a bit of a scatterbrain, for sure.
To the level of accidentally getting poison in her boss's food?
Maybe not that far. Maybe not that far. For the record, I do believe it was an accident. She doesn't seem like the poison your boss type, you know, biting the hand that feeds, as it were.
We hear that Ms. Voorhees got in rather late last night. You got the room right next to her. Do you know what time she got in?
Yes, it was late. She was with me, as a matter of fact, trying to kind of talk me down. I'm sure she heard me putting up a fuss in the room beside her, poor dear. I was, maybe punching the walls a bit, shaking things. I was a little bit violent. And she came by to help talk me down.
Insight check.
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
there a possible other explanation for all those thumping and shaking things?
Insight away.
Yeah, I want to get on that too.
All right.
Oh, I only got a 10.
Natural 20.
All right.
But the match.
So Naroke, you're like, yeah, punching walls. I know that sound. Do. And Dominic, you when he starts to speak about what went on in the room with his anger and stuff, you see his face flush, and his breathing kind of starts to quicken, and you can tell that he's absolutely lying. Although you know he was with Voorhees, you believe when he says he was with her.
Oh, I bet he was. Very with her. Well, it does give them both an alibi, so at least we have that.
Well, it gives them an alibi of where they were. That it doesn't clear either of them, though.
Yeah. So we've been hearing that Ms. Voorhees was rather closely involved with your father.
Yes, they were partners. I have a hard time seeing her as too much of a mother figure, since she is quite close to my age. But, you know, as reluctant as I may have been about the relationship at the beginning, I've really grown to love to have her around.
Alright, so you approve of the relationship. There's not really any tension there.
No. I think she's good for my father, or was good for my father.
Now that has passed, do you know what her situation is? Were there any provisions in his will to take care of her, or is she on her own?
I'm not sure. I've never seen my father's will. Rest assured, I have no intention of leaving her high and dry. I'll make sure she's well taken care of. She's like family to me, but I don't know what my father's will would have pertained to her.
Now that I've got him talking about the will, can I insight check his reaction to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof, that's a 7.
7. Yeah,
Wildly swinging on the insight checks tonight.
Yeah.
Wildly swinging in all the rolls today.
Just zoned in on those pheromones.
Yeah, at this point, we might as well just start flipping a coin.
Nick can tell when people are fucking and nothing else.
He seems genuinely just to not know like much about his dad's will when he brings it up. Like he's not denying the existence of one. He's like, yeah, I really don't know what his will would have kept for her. Like, seems legit. Like, he can't really say one way or the other what he was leaving her, if anything.
I realize this may be a little bit of a touchy subject, but would you be able to share details as to how your mother passed away?
Yes. He's gonna kind of look around, see if people are listening in, and then kind of cozy up a little and say, my mother had an addiction problem, and my father was trying to help alleviate it. He, of course, medicinal wares. Kruger and Son is all about medicines, and that was to to include helping her come down and get off the drug she was addicted to.
Which drug was it, if you don't mind me asking?
He's gonna kind of look down and say, it was Zeta Dry.
Have we heard of Zeta Dry before?
That's what diathamine is. The diathamine flower is made into.
Yes. That is the street name when it's all processed and good to go.
Marsh just calls it by its like plant name.
Yeah, which easy. Because that's usually what you're getting. It's not the hard
Yeah.
drugs, but you're harvesting the dead body flowers.
So he was trying to make her some methadone. And then she
essentially.
died.
She died.
Whoopsie.
Whoops. We've heard things about your father potentially having addictions as well. Were you aware of these?
No. Nope. I can't imagine he would touch any of that stuff, given my mother's history.
Okay, I was...
Naroke should maybe be doing the insight checks from here on out. I had one good piece of luck and that's it.
That was that they were banging. That, granted, I think back to when we were in the last town we were in, and it's like, is the blacksmith in this one gal banging? He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Choral cadence. They're
Yep.
banging.
But Naroke's like, the reason I was wondering is namely because if he had been taking this, and if his previous intent was to try and find a way to bring your mother down from it, that perhaps he had been experimenting with himself to see if he could find a way to curb that, not having others that he could do these tests on. Because you've already mentioned that he's been taking his cure-all for about 7 years.
Correct. That's an interesting point. I can't imagine Dr. Lecter would stand for that at all. I think he would kibosh the whole thing, to be honest, but it is a possibility that he was taking his own samples of, the drug to help cure one's addiction from Zeta Dry. I couldn't say for sure, though.
And outside of the 75,000 gold purchase of snake oil, essentially, water, as you put it, has he been acting strange lately?
No more than usual. His heart has been acting up, giving him troubles, which the doctor has been trying to keep under wraps with regular doses of medication.
Do you know what kind of medication that is? Out of the name or what it looks like?
Yes. It's an anxiety suppressant mixed with, aspirin.
Blood thinner.
Yeah, blood thinner. Yeah.
Do you know what it looks like? Out of curiosity.
Well, depends on who makes it, but the medicine my father was taking was red pill form.
Okay. That we had investigated his room earlier, and we had found an unmarked bottle of red pills. So I just wanted to verify that
Yes, I
that was in
imagine
fact.
that was his medication. It would have been. Dr. Lecter always keeps them on him and insists that my father has some on his self as well.
Which makes sense. Do you know of anyone who would have had reason to want your father gone?
Well, we don't like to talk about this, but Dr. Lecter works for my father, but not exactly willingly.
Oh,
So
blackmail or?
he has his family kept safe, of course. He would never harm his family, but he's keeping him as kind of
Hostages.
leverage. Essentially, yes. Lecter has old ties as a drug lord back where he's from, made lots of nefarious concoctions, and my father thought that his skills could be put to better use and he could rehabilitate the man. He wasn't willing to go easily, and my father came to some arrangements that were perhaps a little nefarious. And I think, under the right circumstances, Dr. Lecter really misses his family, and I think he would do the unspeakable to get out of his contract and see them again.
I don't suppose there was a written form of this contract.
I couldn't say.
What did this contract entail?
That Dr. Lecter works for my father for the next 10 years, and after such and such a time, he would be able to go back to his family. Paid handsomely, they would never have to work a day again in their lives.
Seems rather foolish having someone who could very easily kill you as your doctor when your health is questionable.
Suppose, but my father grew to trust the man and was certain that his love for his family would, override any murderous tendencies he might have, although perhaps that trust was misplaced.
Perhaps. We still have to talk to Dr. Lecter.
Be careful with that one. Orcs are known for their temper.
I hadn't known that, but I will keep that in mind.
Is there any other way I can be of service to you?
I'm a little curious as to why your father and Ms. Voorhees weren't sharing a cabin, considering how close they were.
I'm not sure. Perhaps they were sharing. Everyone's assigned their own, but I imagine she would normally sleep with him in the middle of the night. Perhaps she had a headache and just felt, staying in her own room was prudent. Perhaps she was embarrassed about the mishap with the food and thought he needed space. I couldn't say.
I'm going to try and do something really mean now.
All right.
I'm going to say, well, speaking of the mishap with the food, I just want to let you know that my understanding is that she was making food for all of you.
Correct.
All right. Well, in that case, if there is a small possibility that if she did accidentally nearly poison your father, she may have accidentally contaminated other meals as well. Now, what you're going to want to keep an eye out for is dizziness, difficulty focusing, amnesia, difficulty focusing, deja vu, difficulty focusing, sweating, heart palpitations, anxiety, a feeling
Deja
that people
vu.
are out to get you.
Oh my god. That's brilliant. You hear the clatter of silverware as he puts his knife and fork down and kind of pushes his plate aside and says, "If you'll excuse me, I need to pay a visit to someone." And he's going to step up from the table.
Like, give it a
excusing
couple of
himself.
seconds and then follow him to see where he goes.
Absolutely.
Naroke is going to head back towards the room towards Norman's room.
Norman's room.
Yeah,
All right.
I've kind of been assuming during this entire time I've just been in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what has Marsh been doing?
So Marsh, let's give me just a perception check. Let's see what you dig up.
Hey, 19.
Ooh, 19. Okay, so this room looks very similar to everyone else's. Big old bed, nice desk. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. It's actually quite bare. There's a couple like suitcases full of just clothes, nothing crazy in it. But what does stand out to you is a pair of bright blue lacy panties,
Yeah,
kind of tucked under the pillow.
those clothes are just getting everywhere.
We know it was a matching set.
And yes, it looks quite familiar to the ones you've seen before.
I will just leave that there and call the search done, I guess. While while I'm kind of like waiting for their conversation to finish when I do the search, I just want to like do a quick walkover on the train carts. Is there any names I haven't seen yet, or is like everyone accounted for?
Yeah, for sure. So when you go to the nameplate outside here, it says Doubtful Key Homes.
Yep.
Oh, very.
Technically, we should investigate him as well, but
Yeah, he's not a suspect.
Yeah.
Yes. That's...
Murdered someone on the train just so he could have his own little kerfuffle.
That's why he was so smug. He's like,
He's like, I already know exactly who murdered them and why. It was me because I wanted to have a shit show on the train.
did it.
Yes, they just need to figure out the motive, the how. So that's the remaining cart on this particular train cart, but you can always continue on to other ones if you wish. But
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm also gonna like quickly scan the cart with Melvin.
Myers?
Myers.
oh,
Yes.
Myers, sorry, my brain was not catching up.
I've had that moment of sheer terror where it's like, did I make a Melvin? Is there a Melvin here? I didn't know about.
Like, shit.
Although, Mel, quick question. This is
Yes.
my room, correct?
H, was that your room? Sorry, let me see my...
Because I switched with Endress.
Oh, yeah, you did switch with Endress. Yeah,
Can
because initially... Yeah, go on.
Naroke make, I don't know, a history check or something like that? See, did I remember thumping last night?
But
Yeah.
You were next to Holmes's cabin. You were next to the weird cabin.
You can hear those noises from several doors down. I can confirm this firsthand.
I just picture Holmes just laying in his bed going quiet as he's just next.
Naroke was sound asleep, it's fine.
Okay.
Naroke stepped through his doorway and was asleep as he was falling towards his bed.
Awesome.
Well, I was gonna check out the other cart. I can't resist. Is Holmes's cart locked or unlocked, or?
Yeah, it's unlocked.
I'm just gonna peek inside.
Yeah, by all means.
There's just gonna be 5 more
So-
bodies in there.
What the heck? So the first thing that catches your attention is the desk is filled with an assortment of pipes.
No
And
notes. just
So many
pipe.
pipes.
One of them is a bubble pipe.
yeah, like a pipe for every day, every occasion. There's also stacks and stacks of books, suitcases filled with books, lots of papers strewn about. A lot of the books are like history.
Nothing sticks out being weird or suspicious, just books and pipes.
Give me a perception check. You know what, let's see how weird this gets.
7.
That's a 7. Okay. Yeah, you know what? This is actually pretty obvious. You would check the bed for sure, because everyone checks the bed. So there is a large machete under one of the pillows. Its handle is kind of sticking out.
Just in case, just security measure.
Yeah, the question is, would this be weird to Marsh?
No.
There we go.
To be fair, it'd be even less weird to Naroke. He's got a chest full of weapons, so...
Yeah, that's true. Marsh is like numbed to just random weapons.
Who doesn't have a machete under their pillow? I mean, really. Everyone Marsh knows would have a machete under their pillow.
It's kind of weird he only has one. Anywho.
That's what's suspicious. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'll probably stop searching then.
Guys went there. Okay. And then Naroke is on his way to meet up with Marsh.
Yeah, I imagine I'd be coming through this cabin as Marsh is coming into this one, so.
Yeah, and you were going straight. You were following
I was
Norman.
following Norman.
There we go.
Yeah, I decided to crack that relationship between Norman and Voorhees to see what happens.
And now he's going to visit Dr. Lecter.
You got into his head all right. So
Difficulty focusing. Deja vu. And difficulty focusing.
So good. And when he stops at a door, at the cart there, he's just frantically knocking, and he doesn't stop knocking until the door opens, and you can't see who he's talking to because the figure doesn't step out, but he kind of pushes his way in, and the door closes behind him.
I'm going to eavesdrop.
I look at the nameplate.
The nameplate's
nameplate.
Dr. Lecter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just casually mention when we kind of meet back up. It's like, oh, I found the other half of Voorhees' set in Norman's room.
Strange. I wonder if she gave it to him as a present.
Why?
I don't know, maybe it helps him calm down.
Oh.
He was in a mood.
Yes. You can probably all hear this, because their conversation is
Not quiet.
It sounds like they're trying to be hushed, but they're loud.
Also, it's a train.
Yeah. So in order to be heard. So Norman is basically, he's saying am I sick? Are you sick? Are we sick? Did we eat poison? Are we in any danger? And he's just frantic and doesn't even let Lecter kind of assess what's going on. He's just kind of bombarding concerns and worries about being poisoned, and he's like, I need.
We're suddenly poisonous. Ah! Quick, Dr. Lecter, don't eat me.
Yeah, so he's just freaking out, having a little panic attack. It doesn't seem to bring up your conversation with him, doesn't bring up the investigation, doesn't bring up his father. Just the immediate fear that whatever happened to his dad could happen to them. Are they in any danger? And you hear Lecter try and calm him down to be like, no, your father's, he died of a heart attack. It had nothing to do with a poisoning. It's fine. And it's just trying to calm the boy down. And after about 5 minutes, you hear him say, well, Dr. Lecter say, there is something you can take. This will for sure, any toxins in your system, you take this and it will deal with them within 10 minutes. And that seems like...
We're about to have a second body on our hands. Woo boy!
No, Ipecac is a thing that you can take to throw up immediately.
Yeah. And then, so everything hushes down. You kind of hear sounds of shuffling, because that's an easy one. And after another minute or two, Norman comes out thanking the doctor, doesn't notice you guys, and turns to walk out through the doors here.
Now, when I heard Dr. Lecter saying your father died of a heart attack, was that a reassurance your father died of a heart attack, or a get your story straight, your father died of a heart attack?
You know what? It didn't come off super reassuring. It came off kind of
instructive?
Yeah, instructive almost. And he's trying to talk over this freaking, person who's freaking out and stuff. It wasn't super soothing by any means. Yeah. I would say that's a safe assessment.
But before I forget, just because we've checked literally every other car, what does the nameplate of our next door neighbor say?
Oh, the B?
Yeah, the B.
it is, what is his name? Bortig.
Who's Bortig?
Fuck is Bortig?
Bortig. Bortig.
Who the
haven't
fuck
met
is
a Bortig.
Bortig?
There's a lot of people on this train.
Okay,
We're all just completely distracted from the murder mystery, looking at this nameplate, being like, "Did you talk to a Bortig?"
I know.
Could that be Jigsaw's first name?
Is the murderer Bortig?
I knock on the door. I would have just left it if it was like,
It's like, oh, it's Jigsaw. It's like, oh, that's fine.
If it was like Steve, we would have just left it alone, but it's Bortig, so now we gotta know.
I knock on the door. Is there an answer?
There's no answer.
I push it open.
Yeah, so it is just an empty room. No one's there. There's not even any luggage, which is odd. The room looks exactly as all of yours did when you first entered for the night. Not populated with anything.
Is the black box supposed to be gone?
Oh, yeah, my apologies. Boop, 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 boop.
I was just like, yeah, I'm describing this room, but you don't get to see inside of it because there's going to be more things later.
It's like the inside of all the other rooms, it's fine.
I'm just. So apologies for my curiosity. I'll just. I don't think this is anything. I'll just close it.
No, wait, why is there nothing in here?
They just didn't fill out all the seats?
Who gets on like a week-long train ride without any luggage besides us?
Hey, to be fair, I brought my chest.
Besides Naroke.
Does Rector count as luggage?
Like maybe they just forgot to change the nameplate, like it's from the last trip. And there's just no one here?
I am now entirely distracted from the murder mystery.
I don't know, you'll have to meet people and bug people and...
Hey.
Get on the ancient comm system. Good Bortig, please report to your room. Bortig, please report to your room. Thank you.
Yeah.
All he's got is just a blowgun and poisonous darts.
Haha!
Found him.
He's here to murder someone entirely different from the actual murder victim.
He's here for Holmes.
I guess we could ask around, or maybe we'll just keep a just pay extra attention when we go to sleep if anyone goes into that room tonight.
Yeah, everyone keep an ear out for our next door neighbor.
So
okay, so I think we wait for Norman to leave. Then give it a couple of minutes and then go see Dr. Lecter.
Yeah, the last
guy
left.
He was running off to presumably maybe go to his own cart. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll give it.
A couple minutes. Sure, a couple minutes go by.
More minutes contemplating Bortig.
Yeah, the couple of minutes is just that entire conversation we had about Bortig.
Which is awesome.
Maybe Bortig's the werewolf all along.
I finally made my way back into the mystery.
Or he's a werebore.
Yeah, the wolf hair was just a complete coincidence.
Yep, 100%.
We really don't have much of a lead on the wolf hair at all.
We really don't.
But I think we got enough other leads. It's fine.
Yeah, let's go harass Dr. Lecter.
Are you harassing him together?
Oh, that's a very good question.
I mean, we're kind of the investigation group. It would be weird that we're all together.
Yeah. It wouldn't be weird that we're all together. I'm just wondering if it's like a too many cooks situation. Like if we're all questioning this guy, are we gonna work at cross purposes? I'm not sure. The thing we did with Jigsaw might work again.
Send in the strangest of all.
Yeah, just Marsh being really weird, except that this guy was apparently a drug lord, so he's been around weird people a lot.
Well, we also saw how he had to react to Bates, who was freaking the fuck out because he couldn't get to his luggage.
Yeah, this is a guy who's chalked down people off of a bad trip before. I'm not sure he's gonna be put off by Marsh's weirdness.
Okay, maybe if I just take some of the Drathamine, maybe I'll be able to get to
Don't
his head.
take the drugs, please. There's already so much else going on this train. We don't need a lizard tripping balls.
I know so many spells. Woo!
Look at what I can do.
Fireball magic surge.
Jeez. Well, what's the angle we're trying to get at for Lecter?
Information currently?
Right now we're still relentlessly helpful detectives. That may change, but for now, nobody's a suspect. We're being friendly to everyone. We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, yeah, just general information. I feel like my skills are better at maybe getting a specific question. If it's just general information, then I'll just kind of stand back behind you guys again.
Yeah, I guess if you hear anything that doesn't sound right from an alchemy point of view, take note of it and let us know later. Don't, confront him about it right away, but we'll keep that in our back pockets in case we need to press him a little more.
Ooh, you're wrong.
See, that's not how that works at all.
Gravity doesn't grow in a pot, it grows in a person's chest cavity.
Oh my god. You'd be fun at parties.
Oh, he'd be the best at parties.
Until it exploded.
Alright.
Sounds like it's either
So
one of you or you two.
Both of you.
Yeah, I think the Nick and Naroke combo has been working well so far, with Marsh there to sort of listen in and note when something sounds wrong.
Okay.
So, knock, knock, knock on his door.
Yep.
And he immediately the door kind of pulls open, and he's like, "Norman, I already told you you're going to be fine. Hello."
I'm not Norman, but hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Again.
Hi, Dr. Lecter. We're working with the detective, Mr. Holmes, with regards to the incident last night. Just trying to make sure that there was no foul play involved. It's our understanding that you diagnosed that he died of a heart attack, and we just want to clear up a couple of details before we, sign all the necessary paperwork and make sure that goes through.
Correct. Yes. Of course. Due process. These things have their means of coming to an end. Yes, I did do the autopsy. All signs pointed to a heart attack, which honestly is, if I had to guess how he was going to go, it was that he was not keeping up on his medication.
Question.
Yes.
Were there incisions on the bodies?
There was not. There was no physical, external...
No physical marks?
There was no physical marks on
Yeah,
him.
so that was the first thing that popped up for me too. It's like, he said he did the autopsy. It's like, there was not a single incision on there, so how did he do an autopsy? Kind of looks at it. Yeah, that looks like a heart attack.
Puts the stethoscope on his chest. Yeah, he's dead. Puts it away. Autopsy time.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the old country lawyer routine. It'd be like, I'm not really an expert in medical matters or anything like that, but I am curious. What indicators did you use to come to the conclusion that it was a heart attack?
Well, he took absolutely none of his pills.
Oh.
I could tell. I know exactly how much I had administered for him to take, and he took nothing from the bottle. I believe he only took one of the doses of the medication I'd given him when I forced him to take it shortly after we boarded yesterday.
Do you know why he would have been so hesitant to take his medication?
His mind kind of wasn't about him. He was paranoid, suffering from the adverse effects from his experiments.
Yes, we heard he was testing one of his own medications on himself. Is that common in this industry?
It's not common at all. It's quite idiotic, actually, which is, he's really had my work cut out for me. Trying to keep him alive has proven tedious and tiring these past years.
How long have you worked with him?
I've been with Mr. Bates, Lord Bates, about 8 years now.
Yeah, follow-up question. He was apparently... There was a 7-year figure
10.
somewhere. 10?
There was a 10 years of service before he could go back to his family, so he was less than 2 years away.
Yeah, no, I heard the number 7 years referring to something though.
That was
7 years he'd been testing his own thing on himself,
Yes.
maybe?
Yeah, that was the 7 years that he'd been
Okay.
consuming his own drug.
Okay.
And that we got out of Norman.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also understand that he had a certain delusion pertaining to being afraid of monsters, things that go bump in the night, monsters, werewolves, vampires, that sort of thing. He'd actually made apparently quite a large purchase pertaining to this.
Yes, Norman is quite distraught. I didn't get all the information. I don't keep track of his spendings. I'm just his physician. He had a fear of werewolves, vampires, capybaras, things like that.
Oh
Capybara, I'm sorry, capybaras?
Yes,
He's afraid of a giant rodent. Got it.
ginormous in size. They rend you with their claws. They're quite foul. No mouth to speak of.
We're gonna table that for later.
As you can say, he had an irrational fear. This was his first time being in the area. He travels a lot. Kruger and Sons is a traveling company. And he just had it in his head that this time he needed to be prepared when going to Oyster Bay. Apparently made some outlandish purchase for something that will give him some sort of protection.
Out of curiosity, how does one become a physician for someone who runs a medical company? That seems like quite an advantageous position, if nothing else,
Yeah,
but
very,
also
very prestigious.
very prestigious. Yes.
My father was an alchemist, and I picked up the trade from him, studied under him for many years. He taught me everything he knew, and when Lord Bates met me, he thought I could be useful to him and offered me a position at his company.
Can I insight that?
Sure.
Do I get advantage on kind of the fact that I already know about the contract?
Yeah, we already know he's lying.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
It also
By all
sounds
means.
like he's lying.
8!
Oh, 7 is the number of tea sessions.
Well, I had advantage on that, so I got an 8.
And 7
Whoa.
turns into an 8.
Like, look at our history. Look how many 7s and 8s we've got. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
what the fuck is happening?
So Naroke, what do you take away from that? Well, that doesn't add up. Like, in your head, you're just like, this new story, it makes no sense. Why is that? You should be lying, but, like, yeah.
Well, I think at this point, Naroke could probably because Naroke knows about the deal. It's more so like he probably figured that Lecter has kind of resigned himself to his fate, as opposed to I need to kill this guy so I can get out. But that's neither here nor there at this point.
Yeah.
Great takeaway.
Out of character, though, he only had 2 more years left.
That's
Still a long time, but
Yeah, like waiting 8 years and having 2 remaining is a weird time to resort to murder to get out of a contract.
yeah.
So the doors open at this point, and I like to think that Dr. Lecter had actually taken kind of just a step inside to kind of give you two an access to kind of feel like sociable and like he's not trying to hide anything. Marsh, are you peeking around the doorframe at all?
I'm just kind of like leaning, kind of roughly where I am on the map, and just kind of like I'm in listening range, but like I'm just kind of leaning on the wall.
Can I get Naroke and Dominic to make me perception checks?
I should be good at those.
Famous last words.
In before 7. Oh, that's a 20.
Dice
20 and a 21.
And a 21. So behind Dr. Lecter, hanging up on the little bar where you can like hang some of your clothes and stuff, is a full-bodied, ginormous wolf pelt. Head and all.
Is it gray?
Yeah, it's sort of multi-hued. Lots of grays, a little bit of browns in there.
I'm gonna let my eyes wander over to that visibly and then go, oh, that's a beautiful pelt. Did you buy that from Silent Bob during this trip?
Yes, I did. Delightful fellow. Doesn't say much, but it kind of reminded me of home. Thought it'd be kind of a fun novelty on this trip. here, and I purchased it. Yes.
Lots of wolves back home.
Yes, there are. We often hunt them for sport.
I think I hunted them for food. I don't know. Things are a
Yes.
little foggy that far back.
Gives you a weird look at that, but doesn't say anything. Anything else in his room? Yeah, you see that for sure. That stands out.
Yeah. With our 20 and 21, would we notice if any patches of fur might have been missing?
No, it looks good. It looks like a full coat. There aren't any like obvious chunks missing.
Okay.
And
Probably it'd require closer investigation if we wanted to try to find anything. Okay.
Basically.
All right, let me just review my notes to see where we should take this. How long ago do we hear that the mother died, the late wife?
Oh,
We did
geez,
not get a
right?
date.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did not get a date on when she died.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Long enough for the will to have been rewritten and for Myers to have forgotten who was the original beneficiary.
Now, it was my understanding that Mr. Bates only ate food prepared by his cook. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You know
Is it-
why?
Picky individual, concerned about his health, wanted just the best, freshest ingredients. He also liked to know where his food was coming from in terms of outside tampering, which is amusing given the events of last night.
Yes,
Yes,
we heard about those.
that.
Yes, Madame Voorhees, quite unfortunate soul.
Has
Yeah,
she done this
we're
before?
absolutely- yeah. We're,
Not that I'm aware of.
we're absolutely certain that he didn't consume any of the poisoned food.
Yes, I wasn't there, but my understanding was one of the cooks, what was her name, Maeve, perhaps, noted that the rat poison was not in its usual location, that it was in fact at Miss Voorhees' little stations she had set up for herself, put two and two together, ran after her, and intercepted the meal before it could be consumed.
Out of
That's my
curiosity, what kind of tics did Bates have? You know, things like nervous twitches, chewing on nails, stuff like that.
He garnered quite a few in the last few years, wringing his hands, a bit of a throat clearing tic, you know, I suppose sweating couldn't be a tic, but he sweat a lot. Why do you ask?
Just
Are you concerned about any of these?
Many people have tics, nervous tics. I, of course, could administer medication to help alleviate some of his anxiety symptoms, but none of this pointed to something life-threatening.
that's fair. Also, out of curiosity, did you know what Voorhees brought him as a meal after? After the mistake.
After the mistake. I imagine the same meal but redone. I couldn't say for sure.
With less rat poison.
Yeah.
Just
Burger, hold the rat poison this time. Just to make sure we've got our timeline straight, I do recall that there was an incident at the entrance to the luggage cart where Mr. Bates had to be restrained from attempting to get in. Do you recall what that incident was about?
Yes, that's where I remember you two from. You were there at the carts.
Yes, we were dropping off our own bags.
Correct. Paranoid. He was just paranoid that his luggage wasn't secure, that perhaps there was tampering. He wanted to know it was safe from anything, really. He wanted to get to his bags, to make sure they were there, everything was in order.
And was there any particular reason why Do you refuse to let him?
Well, there was nothing wrong with the bags. He was just being paranoid. He was getting his heart rate up, which was not good for his condition, which is why I tried to administer some medication right then and there. You might have remembered. I insisted him taking his pills. I certainly could have let him, but it just seemed like a waste of everyone's time and would only further rile him up when I was trying to de-escalate the situation.
Can I insight that? Because, at least in my mind, it's like, if he's 17, it's like, because if his paranoia is his bags aren't secure, letting him check his bags to see that his bags are secure seems like a very simple way to de-escalate the situation.
Yeah. His heart rate goes down basically immediately.
Yeah, because, oh, my bags are here. Good, they're fine.
So he is lying.
Yes.
Asp.
Yeah. Something is not quite right about what he's saying in regards to that encounter with Lord Bates and what was going on.
So, now, I've heard it mentioned that Ms. Voorhees was, quote, scatterbrained, and that apparently this incident with the rat poison was just the latest in a long line of obviously less potentially lethal mix-ups. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, she has a bit of a recreational drug problem, and really nothing too nefarious. Painkillers mostly, but they leave her a bit feeble in the mind temporarily. A fact she was trying to keep hidden from Lord Bates, given the outcome of his, how his wife had died.
Yeah, I want you to know that my note for this is just Voorhees is on dope.
Was Bates taking any kind of recreational drugs?
Recreational? No. He didn't need to be when he was sampling his own ridiculous wares. I really wished he wouldn't. I advised him against it at every turn. Like I said, it's hard to... Go on.
Out of curiosity, do you have a sample of his chemical that he had been using?
Yes, of course. And he's going to go into his room and he'll pull out a drawer at the table and procure a little bottle of white pills.
So they're
and
pills?
He'll toss it to you, yes. Little pills.
Naroke will take that. Do you mind if I hold on to these for the investigation?
Please do. There's more where that came from in his wares.
Greatly appreciated. I'm going to hold on to those for tomorrow. Because I got spells to cast.
Oh no, what have I done?
Alright. I think that he mentioned he didn't know anything about the will, right? Or did we bring up...
We had not brought up the will with Lecter.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the person who gave the autopsy, he might be involved with that, I don't know.
Yeah, so I have to ask this because of the situation with the will. It's my understanding that the beneficiary of the will has recently changed. There's a new draft currently being approved.
Seems sort of correct. As his physician, I'm not entirely privy to, all of his affairs, but I do hear things. I spend most of my time with him now, considering his worsening condition. My understanding was everything was to be left to his wife back when she was still alive, and in the wake of his death, he revisited the will and changed where his assets were going.
Do you know where they were going?
His son, Norman.
Okay.
He was to receive everything. Much to the chagrin of others, of course, but it is his son. It only makes sense.
Yes, it does sound like Ms. Voorhees has been left high and dry.
Yes, she was quite perturbed at the outcome. I don't know who told her. I'm not sure how she caught wind.
Was there anyone else who seemed upset at the direction of his assets?
Nope. I just believe Miss Voorhees would have been the only one to have contention with it. Myers wouldn't care one way or another. He owns half the company of Kruger and Sons. He doesn't need Lord Bates' assets.
Yes, that does raise an important question. The two owners of the company appear to be Mr. Myers and Mr. Bates. Who is Kruger and who are the Sons?
Well, they are partners, they are friends, but they couldn't agree on whose name it should be. So to quell any fighting, they made up a new name. So it was fair to all.
That makes perfect sense.
So it's like two people get married and they're like, heck, both our last names. Let's just pick a new one.
Exactly.
And just to wrap everything up and make sure that make sure that this does go down as natural causes. Can you think of anyone who would wish Mr. Bates ill?
Everyone, really, when you think of it. But
You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. I had never spoken to the man, aside from the brief altercation in the hallway.
yeah, he's gonna get philosophical and say, well, everyone's careful or capable of the unspeakable. There's a competition by way of Jigsaw here, who would stand to benefit greatly if something were to befell the company. Myers is convinced that Norman is to benefit greatly from this, and that the untimely passing of his father will be something of a good thing for him. Just, I hate to say it, but everyone can be a suspect.
As everyone would be, though from your claims that he had a heart attack.
Correct.
Can't be a murder if there's no murder. That was extremely stupid.
It can't be a murder if there's no murder.
Can't be a murderer if there's no murder is what I meant to say, but it came out
I love it.
extraordinarily stupid.
No, that was great.
It is 11 p.m. where I am right now.
Yeah, that's
fair.
We'll wrap this up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I've got for Dr. Lecter.
Yeah, I think that's everything for my side as well. Do we want to go and take a peruse through the luggage and then call it a night?
I think so. Yeah.
I
And
also
then-
kind of want to collect thoughts and stuff together before we call it. Because if I don't kind of mix it all together, I'll probably forget it by tomorrow. So.
Yeah,
That's
for
100%
sure.
fair. Yep.
So
So-
as you're walking to the luggage cart, mix your thoughts.
Okay. So here's what we've got from my point of view as I go through my notes.
So Voorhees was banging both father and son.
Yes.
Bates and Bates Jr.
Is on dope.
Yep.
Accidentally put rat poison in the lunch, which was
wondered,
only called out by another kitchen staff.
I was briefly wondering for related to the poison. I wonder if she honestly didn't know and someone put the rat poison there, knowing she might make that mistake.
There was a great residue. There was a great residue under his nails, which might have come from handling the burger with oregano that was actually rat poison.
Yeah, we did confirm he touched the burger, so that explains.
Yeah, he touched the burger and I had notes on that. Also, and that's why I was asking if he had any ticks fingernail, nail bite or anything like that. Because if he had handled the burger, got the rat poison under his nails, and then is sitting there biting at his nails, he would then have consumed some of the rat poison.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But there was no evidence of cyanide poisoning unless rat poison does not contain cyanide in this universe, in which case the point is moot.
That's what it does.
Okay.
And so yeah, there was no cyanide poisoning for the body.
His little red pills smell funky. I think you said it was it's sweet and sour pork and
Calcium. He had a baby.
Calcium tablets had a baby, a very smelly baby. There was wolf hair on the door of the cabin scraped off.
And we have the wolf pelt in Lecter's room.
Both Dr. Lecter and Silent Bob have wolf pelts.
Yep.
I don't like Silent Bob for this. I just don't.
Though the fact that the fact that we've got go ahead.
sorry, super quick question. Did we confirm that the colors match between the hairs we have and Dr. Lecter?
They appear to match, yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that was the same. Cool, I'm good.
Yeah. So the whole possibility of he had a heart attack is true, but once again, going back to the werewolf snuck into his room, in this case, Dr. Lecter with the wolf pelt draped over his head, to scare the bejesus out of Bates, causing him to have a heart attack, at which point Lecter's like, oh, I can just take this and run now. And then hung it back up in his window. It's like, no one knows.
Yeah,
So
also, he was possibly on Drathmine, and one of the things that Drathmine overdose causes is heart attack, sweating, clammy hands, paranoia, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
I love the idea, though, of the method of murder being, I'm gonna get a spooky wolf hood and go boogity boo and hope he gets a heart attack.
Well, I think the intent
plan involving a gun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure is that I'm going to sneak in here with this to scare the shit out of him and then murder him. But he only got to step 1 before the last step just took care of itself.
Like I said, all the plans canceled out. Also, the will was redone recently with everything going to Norman, leaving Voorhees out in the cold, and apparently she was quite upset about that, despite not bringing it up with us. Let's see.
Everyone knows about the fight. And by everyone, I mean everyone on the whole goddamn train.
Everyone on the whole goddamn train knows about that fight. Voorhees and Bates were smushing, but weren't rooming together.
Yeah, because Voorhees is also smushing his son.
He was sampling his own goods with regards to his immortality elixir, and has always been afraid of werewolves for reasons.
That's, that one kind of doesn't stick out too much in this world.
Yeah.
Dr. Lecter can do autopsy by sight.
I was
Dr.
actually
Lecter can perform an autopsy without, dissecting a body, which is interesting.
I'm actually curious, maybe before we finish today, I maybe want to really quickly look at the body to see if there's any drathamine residue on his tongue.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Lecter is a drug lord, and his family's being held hostage by Bates, which is nobody brought that up. Talking about burying the lead.
Well, we've also I find it funny that he's got the 2 years left, and you'd think that the whole especially if Bates had his family held somewhere, or in a if you don't help me, then I'm going to have them off kind of situation, then Lecter would be doing his damnedest to keep him alive, though. Because if he dies, his family could get offed.
My current guess...
Unless he dies of what is blatantly natural causes.
True.
My current guess is the son and the doctor are working together, but there's some holes.
Yeah. There's a conversation between them that suggests that maybe he was being instructive, listen, get your story straight. Your dad died of a heart attack. But I'm not so sure. It's a very loose connection. I do want to know what was in those heart pills. What was really in those heart pills.
The thing that just doesn't make me automatically assume the son and the doctor are working together is the son seemed genuinely sad, and he doesn't seem to be good at keeping a story straight.
Well, at the same, it's despite the fact that he could still be genuinely sad because I had to murder my dad, but things had to be done that had to be done.
Yeah. That said, if he genuinely was trying to deflect attention from the possibility that he might be the murderer, he probably would have immediately admitted to spending the night with Ms. Voorhees because she's his alibi.
The motive I'm kind of thinking in my head is the son was hey doctor, if you can make my dad die of natural causes, I get the inheritance and you get your freedom, and then cool.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, it'd be worthwhile finding out when the late Miss Bates died.
Yeah. And also, like, if there is a relationship there, I suspect that Dr. Lecter was the initiator there. I'll make sure you get everything if you let me out of my contract once your dad is gone. And Norman just doesn't seem like a go-getter to me.
Uh, yeah, no, true. I also like don't. I don't really see a connection with Voorhees unless maybe we find an old will saying that Voorhees was gonna get some.
He was already getting some.
Damn it.
From the whole family.
The whole surviving family.
Yeah. Well,
Alright,
that being said,
well,
we don't know when she joined the group. She may be getting it from Bates' wife before she kicked the bucket too. We can't guarantee anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Marsh, what did you want to check on the body?
I just really quickly before I forget, I just want to check the tongue because I know it's like,
Wasn't the Strathmine once it was actually?
It seemed to have a distinct effect on the mouth, so I wonder if like he just recently used Durathamine or a pill, there'd be some residue in his mouth.
Yeah. So when Naroke ate the raw petals, it made his tongue go numb.
Yup.
Of the drug flower. I would say you're able to pop into the kitchen quick. They wouldn't really pay you any mind because you're already, one of the detectives and stuff. And you can go into the freezer, unearth the body, unsheath the body, and check around in his mouth. And while there's no residue inside of it, there is residue on his lips, white powder.
Interesting.
Now, is that because the pills that I have that Dr. Lecter gave me, are they chalky?
Yeah.
Or are they like are they smooth pills, or are they like kind of chalky like old Tylenol?
I think they're chalky. I don't know that pills are very smooth here. They're definitely chalky. So, to add that to your thing, just to say that you went back to the kitchens and did that.
So, like, the Durathamine thing's, like, the biggest thing I'm kind of, like, a little bit confused on. So if I'm understanding, maybe he was making this miracle cure that involved Durathamine, and that's why he's been kind of getting these symptoms over this long period of time. So,
What
like,
I wouldn't
maybe...
give for an alchemy lab so we could study the chemical composition of things.
Oh, God. I actually have an alchemist's kit, I think.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Can you test stuff for what's in it? Because we have one of his heart pills and we have one of the white pills.
Yeah,
I have a vial of his white pills.
I have alchemist supplies, which I got from a Durathamine drug den.
Yes, you did.
That actually seems ideal for our purposes now that I think of it.
Yeah, that might be something you can do tomorrow.
Yeah, do we want to ransack his luggage as well?
Yeah, well, I just want to double check Bates's bag and make sure there's no like secret compartments or anything like that. I would appreciate assistance as I've been rolling like garbage all night.
Yep, I will come and assist. I've got my skeleton key right at the ready.
You guys, you get to the luggage cart here. Marsh, you're just following along as they beeline to where they want to go.
Yep. Yeah. No, I got everything I need from the body.
So it's huge. It's a huge cart, and now that you're like super sus about what's going on, you're taking like a really good once over. Like you're taking your time, and as you open it up, because you can easily unlock it, there is in fact a hidden compartment into the bottom of it.
Ooh.
The alchemist ingredients and pills and medicines and whatnot do not go as deep as the size of the suitcase would, make you think it would go.
Okay, so I will feel along the sides, the back and edges to see if there's like a catch or anything.
Yeah, there's like a little button, and when you push it, the compartments that have all the medicine and stuff, they kind of like spring up and to the side, revealing just bags and bags and bags of white powder.
Oh,
Some of these bags are full of raw Durathamine flowers.
Oh shit!
Oh boy!
Marsh, you recognize a alchemist's kit that is similar to the one that you got from the drug lab that you ransacked, or stole from rather. I think it was a cabin. So this looks like a huge drug operation. Like we're talking pounds and pounds of raw kind of Durathamine. um,
How
and
much?
Zeta Dry as well in its
How-
natural form.
How much more drugs do I get? If I just
You know
have
what?
See,
half.
Are you
that-
gonna take everything here?
No, see, don't take it all yet, because here's the thing that I'm wondering, though. We've got Lecter, who was a drug lord.
Uh-huh.
Has he been using Bates for this duration as his cover to ship large amounts of Zeta Dry around free and clear? Because, of course, there's going to be stuff like this in a medical thing for figuring out how do we deal with all this kind of stuff, and so just turning Bates into an unknowing drug smuggler.
A possibility. There's also a possibility that his miracle pills are just 100% Zeta Dry.
That's also fair. Are there
It's
any pills in the
possible
bottom of
that
here?
his life- It's possible his life philosophy was do cocaine, live forever.
Yeah, I won't take all the drugs now, but I'll make a mental note in the future.
You don't want to even take one bag? They're missed
yeah.
one bag.
I'll take
Yeah.
one bag.
Do we
Okay,
We'll
should,
take a baggie of this, and then we'll try out some of those miracle pills on Mr. Holmes and see what happens.
Right on. Are you taking petals? Are you taking the ground up petals in the dust? Or are you taking the actual Zeta Dry as a finished drug product?
A little bit of everything, but I'll leave a little bit in the. I'll just make sure there's one thing of each in here, so if we come back later and to prove it as evidence, we can point to it.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Okay. So let's say you have a kilo of Zeta Dry.
Cool.
And Dryathamine, both as raw petals and ground up petals. Bam. Is this where we want to end tonight's session, seeing as it's almost midnight there? Do you feel comfortable here, or do you feel like you need to continue pressing on?
I think we're done with the night with the regards to the investigation. We can start fresh tomorrow morning with secondary interrogations, using spells on people, and maybe drugging a detective.
This will help you focus.
Listen, he's probably ripped to the tits on coke already.
Yes.
Yeah, so at this point, is it long rest and start tomorrow's session first thing in the morning?
Yeah, I think a long rest makes sense for you guys.
Booyah!
And that's when we get some of the fun cleric spells that will completely break this murder mystery.
Glyph of warding, explosive runes in every room.
Just
I
clarify,
wasn't thinking of explosive runes, but you know what? Fine.
Please do have a seat on this chair. I've just got a couple of questions. Now, the first question is boom. It's not a question.
we could also tomorrow potentially ask Jigsaw. It's hey, can you identify Drathamine and then give him some of the pills?
Oh my God, he will punch you in the face.
See, here's the thing, though. We don't have to be can you identify Dryathamine and then hand them the pills? It's simply we take the pills that we have, and it's with your... And actually, it'd probably be better to have me do it, because I already have the less scarring relationship with him than Marsh does.
Yes.
I was with us investigating the death of Betsu's, we found these pills within his cabin, and could you identify what these are? Because that way, one, if it's something, it's not something that we got out of his cabin. So if he's you wouldn't have gotten these from his cabin, or these weren't in there, then we know there's a problem with Jigsaw. If he's able to identify, this is straight up Dryathamine, why the fuck are you running around with these pills? Then, once again, we know that he's been drugging himself. And Food Lord phone, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's definitely an outlet you can use now that you have the drugs, the illegal drugs that this seemingly innocent medicinal company is fronting behind. So
I thought
Lots
it
of
was less
fun
about
things we can do now.
I thought it was it was more so that his wonder drug or something involves Drathamine, less that he's trying to smuggle drugs. But I'm not sure.
I still think Lecter is the one smuggling the giant cases of Dryathamine around and using Bates as a cover. But Bates' miracle drug may just straight up also be Dryathamine.
I have a hunch that Bates is 100% like knows about the secret stash because I mean he really wanted to be careful about his case.
Yeah, he really wanted to get to that case. And he was maybe going through diathamine withdrawal.
Yeah, which we could ask him about that next time.
I'm looking forward to it. You and your stupid Drew speak with undead. So that is where we're going to end it off. Next Sunday is Giggle's campaign, and we will commence the Train Shit Show 2 Sundays from now. So I hope you'll join us for that. Potential conclusion, I don't know, we'll see.
Are we starting a mob again? There seems to be a lot of people involved here.
Oh my god. Probably.
Except this time we're gonna lynch the train conductor.
He did nothing
Yeah.
wrong.
That we have proven yet.
Connects the arcane rocks to him. Don't be worried.
Yeah, this episode may be called Nick Straight Up Gaslights a Guy.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But to any viewers, thank you so much for watching. To my players, thank you for continuing to indulge my murder mystery on the train.
Oh, this is
I will
fun,
see.
so we're enjoying
We're
this.
having a lot of fun.
We'll see how far we get next time. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.